kick in the butt. Starting offensive lineman there, Voss.
Yeah, Voss. That's one of them.
You know, he's a tackle or
he is a offensive. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Tackle.
Spencer Voss.
Deputies and officers have agreed to dance this evening as a way to raise money for the Clinton County Foster Children's Trust Fund.
These guys, I only watched them once this year.
Oh, okay.
I've watched mainly Wilmington.
Matt Baker's coming up at halftime to talk to us.
Also, Coach Philip Bowich is too.
Oh, is he?
So we'll get Matt Baker. We'll get about
Corey's going to come.
Corey, he's the offensive. He's assistant head coach and defensive line or defensive coordinator for Wilmington College. He's going to come up, so we'll give him a little bit. That's perfect. Who's coming up to?
Matt Baker.
Matt Baker. What's he? Oh, he's the superintendent of Massey. Okay.
He was the principal at East Clinton when I was there.
Okay, cool. That'd be awesome.
So
hurricane remains in effect.
Okay.
One and then live. Tell us what.
Welcome, everybody. This is Campus Nation's presentation of the Wilmington Hurricane football game against Clinton-Massie. Huge game. I'm joined here tonight by Chris Wisecup, and of course, Chris has watched Wilmington football all year here, so going into this game, guys, it's a huge matchup with the undefeated. Falcons have one loss, 8-1.
8-1 against Goshen. Goshen, great football team this year. They're undefeated.
Right. And then we have Wilmington, who is 6-3.
Yeah.
And really, it's been an injury bug for the Wilmington Hurricanes.
Yeah, and you go back to Wilmington High School. You know, they go down, they play New Richmond. At New Richmond, they lose their starting quarterback, Brady Evans. They lose Dylan Bogart, which is their number 1 and number 2 quarterback.
Right.
And Dylan's their guy on offense. He's their playmaker. He played a little bit of H-back. He played tailback. He played every position. And he was just that playmaker. And then, of course, when they played Goshen here, DJ Ames was out. He got a concussion. First quarter, he was out. You had Jeffrey Mansfield, who got a hamstring injury and was out.
Right.
So the thing is, Wilmington's been battling with these injuries all year, Bill. And the thing is, I think tonight, Coach Killen's coming back. He coached at he coached at Massey for the first few years, and he's a great. The guy that you want on your side is the guy that knows everything about Clinton-Massie.
Sure. It is an advantage for Wilmington to have somebody who knows, knows Massey and their personality and what they want to do. And so I think that's going to be an advantage for the Hurricane. Of course, they haven't had that success yet to break through with a victory against them in the last couple years, but hopefully they're going to be able to do that tonight.
Yeah, so here at Wilmington Alumni Stadium, we have the band out here now. The band looks good. They're
Script W.
Color guards out. Looks good.
Yeah.
Like you said, the Script W looks pretty good here.
So, previewing, again, not being that familiar with the high school scene here, we look at Wilmington and we see that Mason McIntosh is going to be the main man. He's going to determine what the success is for the Hurricane tonight. Correct, Chris?
Oh, yeah. And Mason has come in, and he's been about the starting quarterback. He was the third-string quarterback coming into this season. You have two people, two guys, Dylan Bogart and Brady Evans. That was quarterbacks. Their first and second string, they both tear their ACL. Against New Richmond here. You have Mason McIntosh, which last week, after 3 weeks of playing football, he looks very pocket present. He does everything. When he executes so well, and that's the thing about Mason. And he's brought to this program. They run a lot of motion. They run a lot of zone read. He's a very good pocket present quarterback, and he does everything correct. He's only $130, soaking wet.
Right.
But he does what it takes.
Kind of a departure from Brady Evans, who is this big physical specimen. And
Tim Tebow type kind of kid.
Yeah, Tim Tebow kind of kid. And, what a difference. And as a coach, you got to be able to change up with that type of stuff and be able to adjust. And, of course, McIntosh has to come in a tough situation. Of course, we saw the Buckeyes do that, go to their third-string quarterback, and it worked out all right for them. So maybe lightning will strike here for the Hurricane tonight with McIntosh.
And I think up front, Wilmington has got to win up front. Massey's big. Massey's fielding around 85 kids. They're very physical. They field 85 kids. They're a Division IV team. They're ranked 5 in the region. They're looking to win this game, move up in the region, get the level 2 points from Wilmington. They're looking to move up, get them a home field advantage game. And you look at Wilmington. Wilmington, this is it. They're not winning anything. Massey's looking for Goshen to lose tonight to New Richmond.
Right.
You got Wilmington is got to win tonight to even make the playoffs.
To have a chance to get in the playoffs, right? So Wilmington, this is a do-or-die game. Their season ends tonight without a victory. And so the same kind of pressure. We've seen the last few years when it was the SCOL, these two teams were right there at the end for the championship. And tonight, a little bit different situation, but there's playoffs on the line. And for the Hurricane, that would be a trip they'd love to do this year.
And last night, we was on the sports show. They're live on Campus Nation. We do that every Thursday night, 7 to 8. And Coach Killen was sitting there talking. And there's like 4 different things that has to happen, in their division, even if they win.
Yeah, so they don't control their own destiny.
No, they don't control it. So here's the thing. They have to win tonight, and that's basically what he said. We're going out here tonight, and we're gonna face Clinton-Massie. We beat Clinton-Massie. We're going to move forward, and what happens, happens. But our number one job is to beat Clinton-Massie.
And I think that makes the season for them definitely a bittersweet season with the injuries, which kind of ruined what was really a promising-looking season at the beginning. To beat Massey at the end could really give them some salvation based on what happened earlier in the year. Was it New Richmond when those boys got beat up over there and got their knees banged up, and in essence, neither of them are playing now. And Brady Evans, I think we just heard this week, probably it won't be until next football season that he's going to be able to play any kind of sports.
Yes, and you go back to the Goshen game, Bill, and we was in here broadcasting here live on Campus Nation, and the Goshen game versus Wilmington, it was 17-17. Wilmington was driving. They drove 60 yards down the field, got on the 20. Wilmington throws on 1st and 10, throws a deep ball in the end zone, and it gets picked up by Goshen. With like a minute 27 left, Goshen drives like 80 yards. They run a screen pass for like 50 yards, get down to the 20, and scores against Wilmington.
Right.
Okay, well, Goshen gets the ball after halftime. Well, that really shut them down, but Goshen goes on and beats Massey 33-28 this year.
Right.
If Wilmington plays their A ball game, and they have to, up front, physically, they've got to beat them off the ball.
Right.
If they play 100%, 110%, and do everything right, they will beat Clinton-Massie. But the thing is, Clinton-Massie's very fundamentally sound on all three phases of the game, offense, defense, and special teams.
You know, Chris, over the last couple of years when we've watched Massey in the playoffs or in the big games against Chillicothe and Wilmington, they seize an opportunity when they get a turnover. If they get an interception, they get a fumble, they stick the dagger in the back because they go right down the field and score. And that's what Wilmington has to do, is they cannot play turnover football tonight. If they turn the ball over, Massey's known to take advantage of that. And I think if they can play error-free, I think they have a great chance to win the game.
Yes, and, you know, and the thing about it is, you know, Wilmington, talking with Scott last night, and Scott has been a part of Massey football program. He's won 2 state titles as a defense coordinator for Clinton-Massie. What better guy would you want on your sideline to know what Dan McShirley's going to do on his offensive side of the football?
Right, and Coach McShirley, of course, will see the same things that we've seen over the last few years, which is what he's built the program around, and we'll see some double slot option. We'll see some wishbone power ball. So we'll see the same stuff that we've come to know as Massey's trademark.
And, you know, coming here tonight at Alumni Field, the crowd's awesome. I mean, we're a packed house tonight here at 701.
Alumni Field.
This is going to be a great game tonight, man. And, you know, Massey always brings a great following, and so does Wilmington. Oh, yeah. And, you know, what a great rivalry they have. They both went to the SBAAC.
Right.
And what a great rivalry we have between 2 coaches that coach together, a defensive coordinator and a head coach for Clinton-Massie, Dan McShirley, and Scott. I mean, that's just something that not only, you know, sparks this moment, but, you know, when you got 2 guys that one's weaned a guy to be a coach, I mean, this is a pretty big moment for Scott Killen.
Yeah, to get that victory over Dan McShirley would definitely be a feather in his cap, and you know, that's always the thing when you're the junior in the relationship. You're always aiming to get ahead of the big dog, and so hopefully Coach Killen might be able to do that tonight.
Of course, tonight here on Campus Nation at halftime, we'll have Superintendent Matt Baker, the Clinton-Massie Falcons, and also we will have Wilmington College Assistant Head Coach and Defensive Coordinator Corey Filipovich. We'll go about a 5-minute segment with them tonight. Coach Bill Ray back here, and I will be talking to both of them here. So I appreciate you all tuning in, and it'll be a good night.
Yep, and you know, good night for football. It's going to be crisp. There is a chance of rain, and so hopefully that'll hold off until we're out of here. But, you know, it should be an exciting game. And, again, you know, as you talked about, this is the first year in the SBAAC. And, you know, the 2 teams have lived up to their expectations. I think, again, if Wilmington is able to get that victory and get in the playoffs, like I say, they can get some salvation for what, you know, started out as a very promising year and then hit a bump in the road with Brady going down and Dylan going down. But this could be the second life for them if they can win this.
Now, as a coach, Bill, you know, you've been a coach for many years. Coached East Clinton a few years ago. If you're Scott Killen, you know, you have a guy two kids, Brady Evans and Dylan Bogart, two of your very, very important players to your offense and defense, and they go down. I mean, give us your thoughts of it.
Well, if you're in a program that is going and the gears are meshing well in the sense that your freshman, your JV, your varsity, you've got all those programs functioning. And what you hope to do during the course of a season is you hope to get your young kids in. And I always had a philosophy that if we were up by 30 going into the locker room at halftime, the first string offense and defense got one more series. And after that, then we started putting the young kids on the field. And I think the more you play those young kids, and I know Wilmington and Massey are often in that situation, you get those young kids in on Friday night playing against varsity competition, and then you get them ready to play. So I think that's where these two programs have that huge advantage, because they're winning programs, and those young kids do get playing time on Friday night. So when they get out there, the magnitude of playing under Friday night lights is somewhat diminished because they've been there and they're ready to go.
Oh, yeah. So here at Alumni Field, 320, Wilmington is taking the field. Clinton-Massie is getting ready to take the field as well. This is going to be a great football game. Tell us, Coach, who's going to be receiving the kick tonight?
We've got Wilmington receiving the ball, and so the Hurricane will go on offense first. And I think with Massey, the one thing Massey's done, Chris, and we've seen them do it in the past, I think what Wilmington needs to do is they need to get into some kind of ball control, good 8-10 play drive, take time off the clock, and minimize the amount of time that Massey can have the football.
Exactly. With Wilmington coming down, they've got your best offense is a great defense.
Yes.
I mean, you got to control the ball. Well, we have the national anthem.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention please. The Hurricane football family has suffered a great loss in the passing of Lieutenant Colonel Mark Huff. Mark was a 2015 graduate of Wilmington High School. He was a proud member of the football team, the wrestling team, and the theater program. This time we ask that you please join us in a moment of silent reflection. We'll also conclude with a cannon blast from the Marine Corps.
Okay, we're back here.
Go ahead, buddy.
And we are ready for the kickoff here as the Hurricane will take the field. And they will be, we will see shortly here where they're receiving. And Chris, any kind of last second thoughts here before the kickoff as far as, the keys for the, we talked about the offense. What about the Wilmington defense? What did they have to do?
Wilmington's defense has got to keep Massie off the field. They got to go 3 and out, get them off the field, do what they got to do their responsibility, play their gap assignment football. The outside backers got to make sure. Of course, Wilmington has a lot of containment from their outside linebackers. They play a lot of their defensive ends in C gaps. They've got to keep Massie off the field. They've got to do their job, get heels depth, bend their eyes, find the football, and keep Massie off the field. Massie's big and strong, and they got a lot of numbers. But if you keep them off the field and you control their destiny, control the ball game, and that's the big thing Wilmington has to do tonight, Bill.
Right, and I think in the last 10 years we've seen Wilmington, or rather Clinton-Massie, that's what they want to do, and they have been able to force their will upon a lot of teams. So that is going to be the challenge for the Hurricane tonight, is to not let that happen. Okay, we are ready for the kickoff. And going back deep for the Hurricane,
looks like
is number 4,
Cameron Coomer there.
Cam Coomer, and
24 actually tonight.
Number 24, we will get that number here in a second.
Franz Cheriska, he's replacing DJ Ames. I didn't see Franz last week. It was DJ and Cam Coomer.
Okay. And there's the kick. The ball's driven down to the 5-yard line. Cheriska's back up to the 15, and that's where he dragged down at about the 17-yard line. Kicking off for that was Zach Eden, I believe. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Kicking off for,
that was Derek Carlisle there.
Derek Carlisle, the kicker for the Falcons. So the Hurricane gets ready to start with the football on the, looks like they marked it officially the 18-yard line. No, this is 17-yard line. Yeah, we need to keep that on, I believe. We need something here so we can. Okay, we've got quads. We've got a muddle huddle situation here with a little quick screen.
Mason McIntosh there picks up about 2 yards.
And McIntosh is able to wedge the ball up there. Looks like they got about to the 20, so it's going to be 2nd and 8.
Wasn't a bad little run there by Mason McIntosh.
Well,
I mean,
they ran
yards there.
Yeah, they ran the quads to the left. They tried to pull everybody out of the box to see if they could get a lane to run in, and I think that's what you're going to see out of the Hurricane tonight. Okay, motion left to right by the Hurricanes, and there is the run to the left.
Looks like DJ Ames.
And Ames gets the ball probably to the line of scrimmage, no more. So we're looking at 3rd and 8, Chris. And these are the situations you have to avoid as an offensive team.
And you got Craig Shift. He's a sophomore. He takes the place of Dylan Bogart there. He's running all your motion there. And they like to run that jet sweep every now and then. They run that off with Mason McIntosh, that zone read off with Mason McIntosh.
Okay, we've got trips to the right, single receiver to the left. McIntosh back to throw, and he's able to complete it.
Matt Smith
with a catch at the 30-yard line, moved the chains for the Hurricane. It's a first down.
Great catch by Matt Smith. Matt's dropped a lot of balls this year, Bill, and tonight I think he knows. Last year he caught a catch last year against Clinton-Massie to tie it, or to go 20-22 before they went for the 2-point conversion. He's done a great job.
Okay, we've got a little mix-up on the formation. They move trips to the left, single receiver to the right. McIntosh in the shotgun with Ames set off to, and Ames.
Great read.
A read by McIntosh, and McIntosh pulls it and gets the ball up to about the 34-yard line, where we'll be looking at probably a 2nd and 7 here.
That's one thing Mason McIntosh has to offer for this Wilmington Hurricane offense. He reads so well. When he runs zone read, he basically looks at that defensive end. If he crashes down, he hands it off. If he goes with the running back, he keeps it.
Right.
That's just what he has to offer for the program.
Okay. 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. McIntosh with backs to the right and left. He takes a drop and then gets the ball out.
Matt Smith again now.
Matt Smith, and it looks like it's enough. Well, it's going to be close, Coach. It could be a first down there. And Matt Smith is the man right now, and nice poise by McIntosh.
That's great, and this kid stepped in. He's a third-string quarterback. You have Brady Evans down. You have Dylan Bogart out. He's a third-string quarterback that's a $135 soaking wet, and is doing a great job for this Wilmington Hurricane offense.
They're doing a little look offense here as they look over to the sideline to get the signal. They come up to the line. 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Backs to the left and right of McIntosh. McIntosh gets ready for the snap, and he gives the ball to Ames. And Ames is able to get upfield for about a 5-yard gain, going out at the 45-yard line. A little less than that, so we were probably looking at a 2nd and 7, or maybe 2nd and 7, I'd say.
And like you was talking about, Coach, earlier, you was talking about, hey, Wilmington has got to keep Massey's offense off the field.
Yes.
They've got to keep ball control. They've got to do what they have to do, and that's what they're doing.
Got to keep the chains going.
Yeah,
keep
2 first downs in this first quarter on their first drive. Doing great.
Nice job by the line for Wilmington. 2 receivers to the right, 2 to the left. McIntosh, low snap, gets the ball out on a fade, and just misses on the deep ball, Coach.
Jeffrey Mansfield was wide open there. If he throws it to his outside shoulder and just a little less, I think he got pressured by Clinton-Massie's defensive line to get rid of the ball.
If he could have put a little more air underneath that, and Mansfield could have got to it, but a great look, and that's got to keep Massey off guard when we see that deep ball like that. They've got to be worried about them coming back to that. We've got trips to the right, single receiver to the left, play action fake, and McIntosh,
right in and out of the hands of Matthew Smith. Matt has had a trouble all year long with the ball coming in his hands. He should have caught that football. That football should have been caught, brought down for a first down. Wilmington's moving the chains. Instead, they come out and they got a punt.
And that would have been a first down, as Matt was right at the chain marker when he dropped the football. So, punting time for the Hurricane. And there's the kick. A little pressure by the Falcons, but not a whole lot. Ball is fielded by number 22 for the Falcons. He's got the sideline. He's to the 40, 45, 50. He may be all the way. 20, 10, 5, touchdown, Falcons.
Garrett Trampler, just like first week, he returned 1 against these Clinton Astros. What a great special teams player.
They set up a great wall on that too, Chris. I mean, they had that walled off, and that's the key with your penetration. And from playing years of football, you tell your cover people to stay in their lanes as they go down. They bunched up to the middle, and Massey was able to make them pay by getting a lane up the sideline, and 80 yards later, it's a touchdown.
Yeah, and you do such great things. Wilmington came out, got 2 first downs. Matthew Smith dropped the football there for another first down. You're doing things right, and the thing is, you got to execute your plays. And, with Matthew dropping the ball there, put him in great position, and that really hurts Wilmington. But you got to move on. Now it's time to move on.
Very true. So the extra point attempt here. And the extra point is by Derek Carlisle. So Carlisle will attempt to put Massey up by 7 with 8:46 to go in the first period. There is the kick, and it is good. And so Derek Carlisle with the extra point, and it is 7-0.
8:46 here at Alumni Field. We're going to go to one of our sponsors here.
The Wilmington Haunted Hollow Ride brings the Clinton County Fields alive every Friday and Saturday night now through October 28th. Experience the fire-breathing sounds. Come aboard the sawed-off school buses for a haunted ride you'll never forget. Terror in the Court, Slaughter Hotel, and the all-new Evil Asylum will chill you to the bone. Wilmington Haunted Hollow Ride, 1261 West Dalton. For more information and directions, go to WilmingtonHauntedHollowRide.com.
And we're back here at Alumni Field in Wilmington, Ohio. Chris Wisecup, Bill Raybeck, as we broadcast the Wilmington Clinton-Massie football game. And if you just tuned in, Massey just returned a punt 80 yards for touchdown to take a 7-0 lead. Massey is dressed in all white.
Looks like they must have had a penalty on that last play there. They're back at 25. Yeah. Or do they kick from there?
It is a penalty. There's no doubt about it. And there's a high kick by Carlisle. Drives ball to the 25. Tariska back up to the 40 and gets just over the 40-yard line.
Looks like we got a flag back on about the 32-yard line there, Bill.
Okay, so we could have another. Got some dirty laundry on the field, and that could mean that we're going to have we're going to have some penalty action here. We'll see what the Zebras are going to do.
Looks like it might be a hold there on. I think it's a block in the back.
Now you see that all the time, Chris.
Yeah.
I mean, you can almost anticipate that that's going to happen in a football game. That there's on every kick there's going to be a block in the back.
So it's if you're just now tuning in on Campus Nation, it's 8:41 here at Alumni Field, 7-0. Clinton-Massie leads Wilmington Hurricanes,
and Wilmington takes control of the football at the 22-yard line. They'll be moving right to left on the radio dial if you're listening on the computer, if you're not watching it. 3 to the left, 1 to the right. McIntosh gives the ball off to Ames. Ames is able to extend the play. And
what a great run there by DJ Ames. He really accelerated.
DJ out to the 31-yard line, a yard short of a first down, and this is, that's what they have to do. They have to answer this touchdown and drive the ball downfield.
And DJ's one of your guys, with Brady out and with Dylan out. DJ's got to take over this game. He's a leader here. There was 3 main starters there.
Sure does. And it looks like it's Ames. No, McIntosh on a slick keep. And I think he may have turned the ball over, Chris.
Looks like Grant Rudy, another running back there, but he playing defense.
I think they're going to, looks like they're going to calm down. And they're moving the chains. So apparently the ground caused the fumble there. And before the fumble, they got enough yardage for the first down. So the chains are moved, and the Hurricane has a new set of downs at the 33-yard line.
Mason can really fool everybody with his
nice ball handling.
Yes.
And they give it to Ames, and Ames pops up over to 35, almost out to the 40-yard line.
Big DJ Ames getting the 6 there. And that's the thing of what Mason McIntosh brings to this Wilmington program. He really excels his fakes. We're thinking DJ Ames has the ball to the outside. Right. You really can't. And Mason's up the middle. And you know what, man? That's what you want as a football program.
Well, if you're going to run this read option, you have to be able to do that.
Yes.
3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left, 39-yard line with the Hurricane. And Ames again, and Ames is up to 45. He's up to the 50. To the 45, up to the 40. Down to the 36-yard line.
DJ Ames is an animal. And the thing is, he wants it tonight. They're coming in here, Coach Killen coming against Coach McShirley. They want this for their coach. And the thing is, that's what we're offering.
Yeah. First and 10 from the 37-yard line here for the Hurricane. Hurricane got something going here, Chris, and they are on the march. And this is what we talked about in the beginning of the game. This is what they need to do. They need to respond to that Massey touchdown. 3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Mason in the shotgun, play action fake, and it's Smith again at the 25-yard line, and another first down for the Hurricane.
And you know what? Just like his play action there, and he fakes a handoff to DJ Ames. He rolls up. Matt Smith's on a slant route, hits him in stride. What a great play by Mason McIntosh.
Nice job there.
And Wilmington's moving. It's on.
Yeah, they've got a nice little drive here. So kind of a little power I formation from the pistol. Receiver split right and left. Mason looks, throws the ball up, and
picked off there on the 5-yard line.
It's one thing, Chris, I would always advise quarterbacks when you're rolling to your left across your body, it is very difficult to throw the deep ball.
And it is. And if you got to throw that deep ball, you got to throw it to the sidelines where only your receiver can catch the football. Yeah. When you got Luke Richardson, he's a senior DB for Clinton-Massie. He's a wide receiver. He's their main target. He's fast. He runs a 4.40. Great wheels. He can overcome anything. So the thing is, you got to throw it only where your offense can catch the football.
Okay, so Massey comes out with the familiar wishbone receiver out to the right.
Franz Reska there on the tackle. Garrett Hickey there.
And number 30 for Clinton-Massie
Is that Grant Rudy?
And that is Cody Collingham. So Cody Collingham with a gain of about 4 yards, and that'll make it 2nd and 6 from the 8-yard line.
And I think Wilmington's got to force these guys to pass. I mean,
Yes,
they're in their set and standard. Make them pass the football.
I agree. I formation for the Falcons, 2 receivers to the left. And the give looks like it's to Collingham again.
Big hit by Wilmington. Look at him there.
Nice.
Gathered around.
Nice job there by the Hurricane.
Now, if you're Clinton-Massie here, Coach, what are you going to do? I mean, I've played against Clinton-Massie. You've coached against Clinton-Massie.
Yes.
You got to watch their tight end here, I believe.
You do, and they like to run a lot of flag routes in this situation as they get a smash concept off a rollout, and then you've got the short route, you've got the deep route, and then if they play the coverage, the quarterback could keep it and pick up the first down. So
exactly.
It puts you in a lot of tough situations there. So
looks like here we got a timeout here on the field.
And so Wilmington has a great opportunity to take something that was a negative, but because of the field position they put Massie in, they may be able to turn this around and actually come out of it not too bad.
Exactly. And, in bad field position, here for Massie, you go after a punt,
Oh, absolutely. Well, hey, it's last game of the year, so you don't leave anything on the table. You bring everything that you can, and you want to get that W.
And Wilmington Hurricanes, they're not going to leave anything behind. They don't have nothing to lose.
No, not at all.
Massey has everything to lose. They're out of the playoffs. They're out of everything.
Yep.
Wilmington's like, man, we got everything to gain.
Yeah, that could be the spoilers here tonight.
Yes.
So we've got the Falcons faced with a 3rd and 6 situation.
Ball on the 6-yard line.
And they emptied the backfield, Chris. I don't know when the last time. Oh, no, I'm sorry. They do still have a back. And they have the fullback right behind. And a little quick pitch to the motion man, number 2.
Hit and brought down there.
And he goes nowhere. That was Luke Richardson, the kid who intercepted the ball. But he only goes for a couple-yard gain, and that'll force the Falcons to punt here.
What a great defensive stand there by Wilmington High School. And you think about it, the Hurricanes, they're out. One thing Scott Killen knows is the Massie offense.
Yes.
I can guarantee you that. He knows exactly how to
It hasn't changed. It hasn't changed over the years, and Scott definitely is prepared for it. Okay, so tight punt formation for the Falcons. There's the kick. And oh my goodness, drives them back to the 35-yard line.
Cam Coomer over
Cam Coomer's back up to about the 37.
Great punt by Clinton-Massie.
Great kick by number 9 for Massie. That's Thomas Myers. Myers booted the ball.
That was probably a 50, 60-yard.
Yeah, he drove. We just talked about the field position that it looked like the Hurricane was going to be able to get. Now, that's not horrible field position there.
No, but the thing is, when you got him trapped on the 7.
Yeah, you were thinking you're going to get the ball at the 50-yard line.
Oh, very much. So Wilmington takes the field here, 4:31, 7-0, Massie over Wilmington here at Alumni Field. Bill Raybeck and I.
So we've got 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Or I'm sorry, two receivers to the right, 2 to the left. And Ames for short gain, maybe a yard, Chris.
Man, I'll tell you, Massie's defensive line got penetration there. Once they got in the backfield, he was just trapped, man. He had 2 or 3 guys on him at once.
One thing I've been watching there, Chris, is the receivers have been able to get behind the Massie linebackers, and I don't know that they're really respecting any kind of pass, and I think that's created some throwing lanes. 3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. The Hurricane gets ready. They take it. And again, the slants.
And I think Cam Coomer's open there, but McIntosh just made a high throw.
He did.
He's wide open. He beat number 87 there for Clinton-Massie to the inside. Yeah. And Coomer had him beat, but he just threw a little high.
Yeah, McIntosh has got to get the feet set, especially going to the left, because if you open the feet too much, you're going to overthrow it. And so McIntosh is faced with a 3rd and 9. And so we've got 3 receivers to the left, 2 to the right. They've emptied the backfield. McIntosh looks. He's got a chance to get out of there, but no, he's dragged down at the 35-yard line.
Looks like Caden Clutter there on the sack.
So that brings up a 4th and 12, and it'll be punting time again for Wilmington. And so, Chris, a promising drive. Kind of stalled out there.
If you're Coach Killen here, are you kicking back to Luke Richardson, or are you going to kick it to the sideline? I believe I'm kicking it to the sideline.
I tell you what, after that last one, the way they set that wall up, of course, I'm sure they had a conference with them. Oh, poor kick by the kicker, drives it out. Looks like they're going to mark it. Wow, at the 48-yard line of the Hurricane, and Chris, that ended up being about 12-yard punt. So with 3:05 to go in the first period, 7-0 Clinton-Massie over the Wilmington Hurricane here at Alumni Field in Wilmington. And Chris Wisecup with Bill Rayback as we give you the play-by-play and color of this game. And this is, again, a big drive. I mean, every time, if you're down 7, every drive's big because you don't want to get that 14 up on the board.
Yep.
Okay, wishbone formation, little power ball here. And Massey goes off the left side for about 3 yards.
Grant Rudy, he's a great running back. He's a big, thick kid. He does a great job. But here's the thing. Wilmington's defensive line is really getting some pressure in the backfield.
I agree. They are doing a nice job there.
Of course, we're almost ending, we got 2:44 in the first quarter here left, and Wilmington's actually got more total yards than Clinton-Massie. They just got a big punt.
So the senior running back, Grant Rudy, with a little carry there. Now we got 3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right, fullback just behind the, and that's Collingham, and Collingham rumbles up to about the 36-yard line, and it'll be a first down for the Falcons. And it's a difficult play to diagnose, Chris. I haven't seen, I've seen out of Massey, but you don't see that a lot. That fullback is just 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage, and it doesn't give the defensive line much time to react, because if they get too deep, they're going to run right by the fullback, and he's going to be to second level before they know it.
And, we've yet to see Christian Pointer run the ball, number 30 there for Clinton-Massie, and he's a solid running back along with Grant. And Christian Pointer, you better be expecting some carries from him.
Grant Rudy again with a 6-yard gain as he powers the ball just down to the 30-yard line. So we'll be looking at a 2nd and 4, it looks like. And they just can't let this happen here, Chris. They've got it.
One thing, of course, Dan McShirley, I talked to Dan the first week, and, they diagnose every play. They know how to block a 4-4, 5-3, 4-2, 5-2, whatever they're thrown at. They teach every kid. They might know 5 plays, but they know how to block every defense.
Right. And there you go. Pointer is down to the 25-yard line and moved the chains for the Falcons. Another first down. Yeah, that's the beauty of zone blocking, is if you're able to educate your kids, it doesn't matter what they throw at you. If they want to run a 3-3, 4-2-5, 4-4, your kids know because they have a track that they're blocking in, and it doesn't matter what you line up in. So, and Massey does it well.
Yeah, they do.
Wishbone formation by Massey, 1 receiver to the right, and it's a keep by the quarterback.
Schultz there.
Schultz with short gain as he gets up to about, looks like the 23-yard line.
Schultz is a pretty good quarterback. Of course, the first week they played East Clinton, and they couldn't basically base anything off that.
Right.
East Clinton's numbers being low and things.
Right.
They can't.
Yeah, it's just so hard to say, and especially that's the first game of the year, and this is the 10th game of the year, so it's really different by this time.
Yes.
Wishbone formation for the Falcons, 1 receiver to the right, and they give the ball to Pointer, and Pointer picks his way through down to about the 16-yard line, and I believe it'll be close to another first. Now they're going to say
it's going to be short. It looks like it's going to bring us maybe to the end of the first quarter here. We got 8 seconds.
Alumni Field. So, it's been what we've
Oh, we got a flag here.
Oh, dead ball on defense. So I think there's going to be one more play here. Yep, with 8 seconds to go in the first quarter, 7-0. Clinton-Massie threatening to push it out to a 2-touchdown lead.
And I think Wilmington's doing a great job, you know, moving the ball, keeping the ball out of Massey's hands. I mean, you have to. That's what you have to do.
Yes, you do.
It's the end of the first quarter here at Alumni Field. It's 7-0. Wilmington is trailing Massey.
So the teams will be flipping sides here, and now Wilmington will be moving from left to right on your radio dial.
We are going to go to our sponsor.
Junkyard is located at 988 Holt Road in Sabina, Ohio. Their hours of operation are 8 p.m. till midnight every Friday and Saturday from now until October 28th. Prepare for torment from freaks of nature like Pig Boy, Patient 5150, Dr. Nightmare, and Buffalo. Due in 2017, Second Extraction, Lights Out. For more information, you can contact the Final Resting Place at 937-728-6190, thefinalrestingplace.com, or their Facebook page.
Best of luck to Simon Hayes in the competing in the regional meet tomorrow.
Okay, we're back. 7-0. Clinton-Massie over Wilmington here at Alumni Field in Wilmington, Ohio. And we're getting ready to start the second quarter as Massie is knocking on the door here, Chris.
Yeah, and you think about it, it's you know, first and goal here, ball on the 8-yard line. Massey, this is their game, man.
Yeah, this is where they like to just hammer you. So kind of a power I formation there with offset back, and Pointer just bounces 8 yards for a touchdown, and now that pushes the score out to 13-0 with the extra point coming at 11:56 to go here in the second period.
4 plays ago, we was talking about Christian Pointer. He hadn't touched the ball. Grant Rudy, Collingham, and Schultz has touched the ball, and I was wondering when they was going to give it to Christian Pointer, and there they are. They give it to Christian Pointer 2 times in a row. He gains, you know, he gets a touchdown, gains a 13-yard, 8 yards. Doing a great job. That kid is solid, man.
Yeah, and you know, just like that, when we, as you said, we were talking about Pointer not being involved. That's where Dan McShirley doesn't get enough credit. I've noticed in the beginning of a lot of games, the player that you're looking for, the one you're worried about, is not the one that they go to. They go to somebody else, Collingham or Rudy or whoever it might be, and then boom, you bring Pointer back when you're wondering what they're going to do, and that's a great coaching. Of course, that has a lot to do with talent if you've got that kind of ability on your team.
Well, when you have 80 kids on your roster each and every year, I mean, that makes coaching so much easier. Clinton-Massie went in 2002. They started this journey. You know, they've done nothing but win.
Right.
Back in 2002 season, Massie goes 2-8, and then after that, 2003 season, they're 9-2. They make the playoffs, win the league, and then it's been history ever since.
Yeah, for many years there, not because I was living up in the northwest part of the state, Massie, and I didn't know anything about them then. They would always end up playing Kenton in the semifinals, and Kenton, when they had the Mock boys going through there,
they was good football players.
They were pretty good. But Massie finally got over that hump and started beating Kenton, and then, of course, they got their own state championships now. Coomer returns the ball up to the 31-yard line.
It was a great play by Coomer, and he's a sophomore. Of course, Wilmington's been playing a lot of sophomores this year, you know, and it's very tough for them, you know, having a bunch of sophomores. They have about 4 kids as sophomores.
And here's where I think that, you know, as a coach, you can't get away from your game plan, because what they were trying to do was working. They just need to finish the journey, and if they do, I think they'll have some success. But to throw caution to the wind, I think it's still too early at 14-0, because, you know, you get one touchdown, you've cut it to a one-score game. So nothing to worry about yet for the Hurricane.
1st and 10 here. Ball on about the 30.5-yard line. 11:51 at Alumni Field. 14-0. Clinton-Massie over Wilmington Hurricanes.
Trips to the left, one single receiver to the right. McIntosh in the shotgun. Play action to Ames. And overthrows the intended receiver, number 19 for...
That was Jeff Mansfield, wasn't it?
Yes.
Jeffrey Mansfield.
Jeffrey Mansfield, number 18.
You know, Jeffrey's a senior that came in this year. He hasn't played any football since, junior high.
Good basketball player.
Great basketball player, and comes in, and he wants to be a part of this program. I respect that there for Jeffrey Mansfield coming out of senior year and doing some work.
It's hard to get those basketball kids out sometimes. You get 3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right, and they give it to Ames. And the Falcons were up to the task there, Chris.
Yes, they were. They knew what was going on.
So, back to the line of scrimmage. No, actually, they're going to mark it as a yard loss here, so it's going to be 3rd and 11.
Tyler Beam there on the stop for Clinton-Massie.
And Wilmington just needs to recollect their thoughts here and really could help themselves out tremendously if they can pick up a first down with 11:15 to go here in the second period. 3 receivers to the left, 2 to the right. They emptied the backfield. McIntosh all by himself. And McIntosh keeps it, and he's up to the 33-yard line, out near to the 35. Give him a little more room for the punt.
And, I think there, McIntosh makes a nice read there, but I think I'm getting it up inside, trying to cut it back to the green instead of stretching it to the outside, get back to my blockers. That's what I'm going to do.
Right. So we're looking at a 4th and 7. And Wilmington comes out, 3 receivers to the right, 2 to the left. And normally in this situation, we'll see a pooch kick. Oh, it's blocked! Covered by Wilmington. Covered by Wilmington, but it comes loose and is recovered now by the Falcons at about the 16-yard line of the Hurricane. And, Chris, you're seeing more of that. They take the quarterback. They have him go back 7 or 8 yards because if he's 7 yards behind the center or more, he has the protection of a punter if he kicks. But the blocking broke down, and it just didn't turn out well.
And, for Wilmington High School, they got to know Coach Dan McSorley's coming after him. It doesn't matter. I mean, he's coming after it. He'll win this ball game 59-69 if he can. And that's the thing. They've got to be prepared. Wilmington's got to be prepared to play toe-to-toe football and do what they got to do to win this game and keep this ball out of Massey's hands.
Exactly. Wishbone formation for the Falcons again. Single receiver to the right. Scholes gives the ball to Pointer, and Pointer slashes off the right side.
What a hit there.
Yeah, and what looked like it was going to be a solid run is limited to 2 yards by the Hurricane.
And Kyler Reed, the linebacker there who made the tackle, Kyler came on the show last week. He's a big, thick kid, and he wants to play. Wilmington's missing a few key players, that's juniors, seniors, that didn't come out this year.
Some components.
Yeah, some very good components, and they got to play those younger guys that's basically, filling in and doing the role. And they're great players, but there's nothing like having a big upperclassman doing the job.
Very true. 2nd and 8, wishbone formation for the Falcons. Looks like they go to Rudy again.
Bam! Hit by number 7 again. Kyler Reed, man. What a big play by Kyler.
Kyler doesn't, he's not giving up here. He's saying, hey, we're not going to let this be an easy game for the Falcons.
And, this is basically Kyler's last game promise.
Right.
And he's done a great job this season.
Right.
And he's worked hard to get where he's at.
3rd and 5, Falcons come out in a wishbone with single receiver to the left. Scholes under center. Pitch the Pointer's trying to get to the edge. He gets to the edge. He's up to the 5, down to the 4-yard line.
Christian Pointer, I watched this kid in 4th, 5th, 6th grade. He was always a solid running back when he was in youth, going up through the ranks. He's always been a solid athlete. His grandpa, Tom Pointer, was a good athlete. His uncle, Chris, and his dad and all of them, they've been great football players for all their lives. And, Christian's done a great job this year.
Sure. So Massey is down to the 4-yard line, 1st and goal. And
going to give him unsportsmanlike.
And so they get half the distance to the goal, so Massey gets a little bit closer. They break the bone, have an offset wishbone, and they give it to Pointer, and Pointer is in the end zone for another touchdown for the Falcons.
Like I was talking earlier, I said, where's Christian Pointer? I watched this kid all year. I'm like, man, this kid's their bread.
You know, Chris, being a running back, you know that the key is sticking the foot in the ground and getting north and south when you see the hole, and that's what Pointer just did.
Yeah. And, you know, Clinton-Massie, they're also known for their run game. They do a great job.
Yeah.
But tonight's a big night for them. You know, they've got to get back. They got to win this game, get home field advantage in the playoff, or well, not home field advantage, the first round of the playoffs,
right,
and home field advantage there. And I think that's what they're looking for.
Right. And I believe Valley View is
number one in their region, which Wilmington played the first week and was actually tied going in the fourth quarter, 28-28. But then they took off, scored 3 touchdowns, and beat Wilmington by 3 touchdowns.
Right.
So with 9:26 here in the second quarter, we have Clinton-Massie Falcons 20, Wilmington High School Hurricanes 0. We'll go to a sponsor real quick.
Hollow Ride brings to Clinton County Fields every Friday and Saturday night now through October 28th. Experience the fire-breathing ceremonies. Aboard the Sawdust school buses from Hollow Ride you'll never forget. Terror in the Chorus, Robert Hotel, and the all-new Evil Asylum will chill you to the bone. Wilmington Hollow Ride, 1261 West Alton. For more information and directions to WilmingtonHollowRide.com.
Here we are back at Alumni Field with the kickoff by the Falcons to the Hurricane. The Hurricane field it at about the 14-yard line, return it up to the 22.
Franz Shereska there, he needs to turn. I wonder why they don't have DJ Ames out there receiving tonight. I think they put Franz back with Cam Coomer, and each and every week, all 9 weeks, they've had DJ. But I think with his concussion problems, things he's had wrong with him,
trying to limit the amount of contact.
Yeah, and which I agree with that too.
Yeah.
And you know, on special teams, Clinton-Massie's coming out. They go 3 platoon all day long.
Yeah, they do. And that's where the young kids get all the reps there, and Massey's team, as they get those young kids involved with special teams.
And they're ready to hit.
2-by-2 formation. McIntosh gets the ball out quickly. And we'll get a number here in a second on that.
Caught by number 13 there, Craig Schiff.
Craig Schiff, and you talked about Schiff earlier, as he's the type of playmaker kid that the Hurricane are going to look to get into space and try to make a play.
And he's a guy, after Dylan Bogart got hurt, he come in, he's a halfback, does a great job, kind of fills that role as a sophomore.
Okay, McIntosh in the shotgun, 3 receivers to the right. Give it to Ames. Ames is up to the 30. It pops out to the 32-yard line.
And, you know, talking, Bill, you know, with Brady Evans out, Dylan Bogart out, those are your big key players. With DJ Ames, they've done a lot of work. They've done great jobs this year. And, you know, New Richmond game, you know, 2 of your superstars tears their ACL.
Right.
You're out, and DJ's sitting here, all the pressure on his shoulders. And, you know, how do you feel if you're DJ and DJ's getting attacked? He's keyed 100% every time, each and every play.
Well, you know, DJ, he knows he has to step up, especially if the Hurricane want to have any chance of getting into the playoffs. 3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. McIntosh, zone read, he keeps it. Got the first down, and he's up to about the 43-yard line, 44-yard line.
We talked about it earlier, the zone read with him. He reads off that defensive end, and he knows how to tuck the football.
Yes, he does.
You got to be able to roll it over, excel the fake, and make it happen.
Yeah.
And he does that.
Yeah, the defensive end bet on the fake to Ames and opened up the gap, and he took advantage of it.
We got Craig Schiff in the backfield, don't we, here?
Yep. 3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. McIntosh looks things over.
Look here for DJ Ames. Looks like he's spread out in this trips formation here instead of in the backfield. He's the inside slot here.
So you never know, you might see some trickeration, a quick screen out to Ames. I mean, sometimes, but no. They give it to Schiff, and Schiff's able to get the ball out to about the 42-yard line.
Man, he rustled. That's a kid that does a great job, and he's a sophomore. This kid is an animal. He runs with low gravity. It's hard to bring him down, and he puts that hand down. You know, a guy that's going to play the ball game just like it's a backyard football game, that's a kid that plays like it's backyard football.
Right. And those are the kids that enjoy it and keep on coming back and want more of it.
Yes.
2-by-2 formation with the Hurricane. McIntosh in shotgun back off to his left. Steps up, throws the football.
Matt Smith, is that completed?
Yeah, I believe it is. Matt Smith at the 45-yard line moved the chains, and the Hurricane have something going here, Chris.
You know, Matt Smith, he's a 6'3" wide receiver. I believe that was Matt. That might have been Cam Coomer there. Was it Cam Coomer? Yeah, it was Cam. He's a sophomore, another sophomore. Great catch by him.
Young kids, three receivers to the right, one to the left. McIntosh in his shotgun back, set off to the left. He takes a quick drop, throws the ball, picked off by number 87 for Clinton-Massie here, and that is Griffin Lake.
And Wilmington makes some nice plays, creates a nice drive, and then intended for Jeffrey Mansfield. Its pass was over.
You know, Chris, we talked about the thing that can't happen is when you turn the ball over, the Falcons usually make teams pay, and we've seen that every time they've turned the ball over, it's resulted in points for them.
Yes, and of course, you know, the first play, you know, the time they punt, they return it back for a touchdown.
Yes.
And you're right.
So a little bit different look here for the Falcons. They've got trips to the left, a single receiver way out to the right. And it's just a quarterback run by Scholes, and Scholes is up to the 30, down to the 25. Looks like he's all the way down to the 23-yard line.
If it's the outside linebacker or it's the defensive end, I don't know who's playing contain there.
Right.
But the thing is, nobody was home. They bid on the inside fake. Schultz takes it to the outside. That was, you know, you have to play your gap assignment.
And you knew something was happening because of the split with the wide receiver. I mean, he's all the way over on the sideline. You've got trips into the short side of the field. Now, normally, I won't say you don't throw to the trips to the short side, but normally when you're putting somebody on an island like that, something's happening on that part of the field over there.
Exactly. So if you're just tuning in here to Campus Nation, here in the second quarter, 7:03 to go, Clinton-Massie leads Wilmington Hurricanes 20-0. At halftime here, we have assistant head coach, defensive coordinator for Wilmington College, Corey Filipovich, and Clinton-Massie superintendent, Matt Baker, coming up.
I know
to speak a little bit.
Know both of those gentlemen. Matt Baker was the former principal at East Clinton when I was there. Had the opportunity to coach with Coach Filipovich for a year at Heidelberg.
Yeah, and that's what they was talking about, and that's what Coach Moore was talking about. He says, I love Coach Rayback.
Yeah, we were together that one year and made the playoffs. So looks like Collingham is able to, on a little quick trap in the inside, picks up a couple yards. And so we're going to be looking at a second and probably about 6 yards. 2nd and 6. So, with 6:40 to go in the second period, 20-0 in favor of the Clinton-Massie Falcons. Okay. Short wishbone formation, and it is Rudy, I believe.
Yes. Touchdown.
Rudy on a 24-yard run.
And, you know, that's where Clinton-Massie gets you. You know, Wilmington starts out, does a great job controlling the clock, controlling the ball game, right off the rip, punt the ball. Clinton-Massie scores. They just keep, it's poison to them.
Yeah. And, you know, that's the problem is keeping the mental composure of kids when, you know, the one touchdown, okay, 2 touchdowns, okay, but when you get to a 3-4 touchdown spread, now the kids start looking at the clock and saying, well, what can we do to get back in this? Especially when you're playing Clinton-Massie becomes the problem.
But I can tell you right now, Coach Gillen's not going to lay down, and the Hurricanes will not lay down. They're coming out and they're attacking.
Carlisle chips in the extra point, pushes out to 27-0 in favor of Clinton-Massie. with 6:23 to go in the period. And so, Chris, Wilmington has had some offense. If I'm scouting this game, and I'm from another school, I've seen some weaknesses in the secondary for Clinton-Massie. And I think they can be exploited, and I think that's what Wilmington's trying to do, is because the linebackers staying close to the line of scrimmage, they're leaving some lanes open for receivers to run behind them. And again, when they get a little bit stiffer competition, it could be a weakness for Massey if they don't address that.
Yes. And, going back to, with injuries of the team, that's very tough, when you create things over the off season.
And Massey drives the ball. Looks like it's going to, I thought it was going out of bounds. It's rolling around at the 10.
Chariska there.
Chariska picks it up and is dropped at the 10-yard line.
No, if you're Franz Chariska there, Coach Rayback, what are you telling him? When a ball rolls like that, it could go out of bounds, could stay in. Are you moving over the top of that? What are you doing?
Yeah, you have to field that football. That's a live football, and you can't let it roll around like that. So you've got to pick it up and make a decision. Now, if they're steaming down there, if nothing else, scoop it up and get out of bounds, but don't take that opportunity to turn the ball over right there, because that would have been disastrous on the 10-yard line.
Yes, and with Wilmington taking over, and that's one thing Clinton-Massie's good at is their special teams.
Yes.
Their special teams play does a great job. They concentrate a lot on their special teams. They have all over, you talk Coach Killen, they really emphasize their special teams. And the thing is, I think everyone should.
Yeah, well, it was always when I was still coaching, it was always the first part of practice was special teams. Okay, so power I formation from the pistol.
Jeffrey Mansfield, had number 22 there all over him for Clinton-Massie. Garrett Trampler, that was the guy that returned the touchdown there early in the punt return.
Right. So we will see a 2nd and 10 situation here. And we will be having Matt Baker, the superintendent for Clinton-Massie, coming up at halftime. We'll talk to him a little bit about what's going on at Massey and as they move into their winter sports after the conclusion of this season. A nice throw.
Nice catch there.
A nice throw and catch. McIntosh whips the ball out there.
Was that Cam Coomer, I believe?
Yeah.
Or was that Matthew Smith? It was one of them. Matthew Smith.
Matthew Smith, yeah. And it's just short of a first down, so we've got 3rd and 1. Now, last time we saw the zone read on this. And so we'll see what happens here, Chris, is...
I don't know. I haven't seen Wilmington go under center much this year. Looks like it's kind of like a pistol with a heavy. This is probably their heavy package here.
Yeah. Okay.
Fumble.
Oh.
Drops the ball. Mason McIntosh fakes it, comes back, and looks like he dropped the ball there looking to pass for...
So it's going to be a 4th down situation back at about the 13-yard line. And it'll be punting time for the Hurricane.
If it's 3rd and 1 there, Coach, and, I think sometimes, I haven't seen Wilmington go under center much this year, but I'm looking, to go under center. I mean, when it's 3rd and 1, I don't know if they have any packages, that's their heavy formation, a pistol with a power. I mean, I don't know. I kind of like the underneath center.
I do too, and I'll tell you, I think it gives, there's the punt by the Hurricane, ball rolls out to about the 48-yard line.
Then going back, Coach, what do you think about, the power, your power eye kind of getting in that situation?
Well, I like that, and I think that if you are a wishbone, if you are a spread team, what creates a problem for a defense that's seen in practice spread, and all of a sudden the quarterback gets under center, you can catch them off guard because they've been taught, hey, we're more worried about the pass than we are the run, and you can really throw a defense off by putting your quarterback under center on them.
Exactly.
So
back to action.
3 receivers to the left, fullback right behind Scholes, and he keeps it again to the right. He's up to the 45, down to the 41-yard line, and Schultz just pulls that ball out. after a quick fake to the fullback, kind of like a read play with the triple option without the pitch man.
Yeah, and of course Sloan Marsh comes up, makes a nice little play.
Right.
He extended it out. That was a nice job by, he's a senior there.
Right.
Of course, Jim Marsh, that's his son there.
The athletic director at East Clinton.
Yeah. And he's done a great job this year for Wilmington Hurricane defense.
Yep. So we've got 3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Fullback again, right behind Schultz, and give it to him this time. And Collingham is down to the 29-yard line, just a quick burst. And Collingham just like that, picks up 9 yards.
And we go back to East Clinton and things like that. Collingham, his father was actually East Clinton graduate. Jeremy Collingham was Collingham's father there. And it's crazy to look. Luke Richardson's mother was an East Clinton graduate from Clinton-Massie. There's a lot of East Clinton graduates that have kids playing at Clinton-Massie right now.
Yeah. Okay. Wishbone formation, single receiver to the left. And they give the ball to Rudy, and Rudy is down to about the 26-yard line, pick up a 3.
It's a nice play by number 57 there, TJ Rockhold. He's done a good job for, Wilmington this year. And I think going back to winning small battles, Wilmington's trying to grow right now.
Right.
They got a great quarterback coming in, Brady Evans. He's going to be, their junior, senior year. You've got to win small battles right now.
Right.
And work on getting better each and every year. We've got 2 more years of football with a great sophomore class here.
Right. Pointer with the ball on the wishbone handoff, and he's able to get the ball still going there, but he gets up to at about the 22-yard line, pick up a 3, so it's going to be a third and 3 here, and
3 minutes to go here at
Alumni Field. And this is where you don't.
Coach Filipovich right here. Hey, we're going to let Coach Filipovich roll it in here and talk a little bit at halftime with Coach Rayback.
Coach, how we doing?
Hey, good. How you doing, Coach?
Good to see you, bro.
Good to see you.
Good to see you, absolutely.
Congratulations over at Wilmington. You guys are getting the Quakers going. Pointer with a run off to the right, and he takes it into the end zone on a nifty little 19-yard run. So, Coach, it's been a few years since I've seen you.
Yeah, absolutely.
While we were at Heidelberg together.
Yeah.
I think Brian and you and the staff there have breathed new life into the Quakers, because I saw you guys against Capital, and that was an exciting game, and boy, what a crowd there.
Yeah, holy cow, there was a bunch of people there, just like tonight here.
Yeah.
For this game. I mean, it is jam-packed in here. There ain't much many open seats right now. No. And that's what we had too that night against Capital, and as we move forward here, hopefully more and more people buy into us and the community buys into it. And that was Coach Moore's big plan, was not only we're going to change the football program, we're going to change the community as well with us. So we're going in the right direction for sure with him.
Recruiting-wise, I hear you're getting a lot of kids out to your home games and taking them on tours and that. Of course, that's the lifeblood of Division III, is just to get a bunch of players, So
yeah, no doubt. And obviously when we took this job, a big part of it, when Coach Moore asked me to come along with it, the big plan was we got to recruit Clinton County, we got to win the local area.
Yeah,
It was huge. And when we got here, we looked at the roster. There weren't many kids from the local area. You know what I mean? So if we get 3 kids from Wilmington, 3 kids from Clinton-Massie, 3 kids from East Clinton, 3 kids from Blanchester,
Well, and then I think
that'll be a big change.
Yeah,
we got to win locally.
Right, and if you can win locally, that's also going to change the community's approach, because then there's some roots in the program where you're going to get that support locally because the kids are from the backyard right there in Wilmington.
Well, yeah, absolutely, because if we get a kid to come to Wilmington and attend school and play football there, then that means his grandparents are coming to campus. That means his aunts and uncles are coming to campus. So the bookstore's thriving. The concession stands are thriving. There's more people there spending more money, and there is, it's just better for all in all.
And Massey is back on the offensive again. Coach, you look at Massey and the success they've had here, and you bring up the fact that you need to be able to get players out of the local area. We did a game not too long ago with Ohio Dominican, and Jake Garrison is the starting offensive guard for them. And, of course, Garrison played here at Massey. Then last night we did a game up in Canton, and Chris Demler is the kicker for Findlay High School. Or Findlay College. So, I mean, you look at that, you see these guys getting out of this area, you want to keep them here, and so you can build your program with those kind of quality players.
Yeah, absolutely. And it starts with a brand. You know, the brand at Wilmington over the past few years, as far as the college, hasn't been great from a football standpoint.
Right.
You know what I mean? So as we change that and we change our brand, and, you know, as we get better and more wins come, that will come and changing the community's view of these local high schools. It's going to take some time, and hopefully we can start this year. We're getting a couple kids to stay locally and come play for us. And our big thing is if we get one, then that means usually 3 or 4 are going to come in the following years.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. It's the piggyback effect.
Absolutely.
You build that pipeline to a particular school, and when that door opens up just one time, there's the possibility it'll open up again for you.
Yeah, and it happened to us at Heidelberg when we were up there. Tiffin-Columbian was a premier power up there in the northwest Ohio, and we never had any kids when Coach Howell took over there.
Right.
We got one kid. I think it was Austin Benz was our first Columbian kid.
Right.
4 years later, we had like 9 of them from Tiffin-Columbian. You know what I mean? So just we got to bust in that door first to get them in the door.
Very true. Very true. And there's the kick by Massey, who stalls the first punt of the night. And the ball rolls down to about the 7-yard line where the Hurricane will take over. Flag. Oh, we've got a flag on the play. And we will see that a lot of times is a block in the back. We've seen quite a few personal fouls here, so we'll see what the results are here. So, you know, Coach, it's been a few years, but you know, when I was on the staff up there, Coach Moore, you, Coach Hallett, of course, you guys did such a great job motivating the kids at Heidelberg because, you know, I don't know if people know anything about Heidelberg, but, you know, it was very much like what we saw at Wilmington College.
Exactly the same.
Yeah,
exactly the same.
And you guys went in and you were able to change it. I was fortunate to come in that one year and be on the staff when we went to the NCAA playoff. And what a big moment that was for that program, and Coach Donaldson has appeared to keep that thing going up there.
Yeah, I mean, that was a big change, and it starts with a plan and a vision,
right?
You know, and that started with Coach Hallett, and obviously we have that plan. We believe in Coach Moore's. There's a lot of that plan here, but it's Coach Moore's personality on it. So,
it is.
So things are a little different.
The enthusiasm that he brings in.
You know, it's a little bit different than the Big Mike, you know, the Coach Hallett style of,
he had his own style, no doubt about it.
Than Coach Moore's, you know, but it's one that we believe will definitely be here in 5 years. 4 years, can we look back and see, wow, look what happened here.
We're building something.
Yeah.
So Wilmington on the offensive at the 25-yard line, and they get the ball out to Matt Smith, and he isn't able to bring it in. So, you know, and I look at Luke Credit and the job that he's done, you know, and when I talked to Brian at the OAC meetings, he said the one thing that he noticed in watching films from the past was they had to keep the quarterback upright. He said, I don't care if we have to keep 9 people in, but we're going to keep him upright. And I've seen you guys be able to do that.
Yeah, you know, Coach Burns, offense line coach, Coach Burns played for us when we were at Heidelberg. And he's taken over the reins, and he does a fantastic job with those guys and getting them to play smart, play on their feet, get in front of people. You know, and I think a lot of things with Luke is the style of play we have on offense. We're an RPO style offense where Luke doesn't have to sit in a pocket. He can move. And everything's a read for him, and there's quick throws, and getting the ball out of his hands has been huge for us. And I think it fits his style of play.
Well, you can tell he's bought into what you guys are doing, which is the important thing.
No doubt.
You know, selling that package to him is what you've got to be able to do. Okay, Wilmington is faced with a 3rd and 7 at the 27-yard line. Okay. And there's about 30 seconds to go. And we will, as we roll towards the end of the half. Coach, when you're out there recruiting, you know, something I found interesting is at Heidelberg how you guys had the area set up and the rating system that you guys looked at. And, you know, you guys approached it like you were a Division I school. Is that the kind of approach you're going to use here?
Yeah, same exact approach. You know, we grade every kid's film. We have an idea of where he's going to fit in our system and going to produce throughout the years. And a lot of times, honestly, we're probably wrong on most of the kids, you know what I mean? You know, because some guys we rate high and they come in and
Clinton-Massie gets another return set up.
Aren't what we thought they were, and then there's some guys you undervalue and they come in and they're nice surprises for you. And you know, but yeah, the plan is there. Not much different as far as the recruiting.
Right.
In there, we were divided up a little differently. We were done doing it by cities. Here, we're a little bit of everywhere. I got a little bit of Columbus, a little bit of Dayton, a little bit of Cincinnati. Those are our main hubs. That's where we're going to try to hit the most and get our most kids from. Obviously, locally as well too. And then we're going to hit Indianapolis, Louisville, and Lexington. We get to those cities in under 2.5 hours as well too. So those will be 3 that we'll hit as our outside.
And those are the ones that you really have a reasonable chance of getting a parent to make that commitment.
Yeah, no doubt.
Because they can see their kid play, you know, get in the car, 2 hours, you're on campus, and you can watch them. And so that makes a huge difference for them.
Yeah, major. It'll be a major difference for us.
So it's going to be a safety formation for Massie, and Massie runs the clock out. So at halftime, it is 27-0 in favor of Clinton-Massie, and we have Coach Corey Filipovich, defense coordinator for the Quakers. And Corey, I'm going to turn over to Chris here for a little bit. Let Chris talk to you.
Great.
And we will have Matt Baker, the superintendent from Clinton-Massie, coming up in a little bit.
Cool.
Okay. Coach, it's great seeing you again.
Good to see you, Bill.
Keep the Quakers going.
Always, absolutely.
Coach, my main man.
How we doing?
Coach Corey Filipovich is one of the best guys I know, man. You know, defensive coordinator, assistant head coach there at the Quakers. You guys are going back to Heidelberg.
Yeah.
I'm excited for you guys, man.
We are too. Coach Moore's been back a couple times. Obviously, he was at Bluffton, so he was only about an hour away from Tiffin. I was in North Carolina for the last 2 years, so me and my wife, we haven't been there in almost 3 years, so it'll be a little weird being on the other sideline.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And your good buddies are across from you, and you're competing against them.
Yeah,
you know, so it's going to be weird, but it'll be fun too. It'll be fun to get back and see everyone, and you know what great memories we have there.
So when coming here to Wilmington College Quakers, you know, Coach Moore, we talked about it. Coach Moore and I did, and we sat down and talked about it. Okay. The first day he called you, you guys moved in. I mean, explain the situation when you called him. I mean, hey, Coach Philly, I want you as a D coordinator, assistant head coach. You're my dude. I mean, what's your train of thought here?
Yeah, well, the funny thing is when Wilmington College, that job opened up, you know, that time of year, there's always coaching changes everywhere, and in our profession, you always try to stay close knit with your guys you've worked with. That's just the networking system at any level, whether you're talking at the Division I, NFL. That's just the way it is. And when it came open, I sent him a text, "Hey, you going for a Wilmington job?" He said, "Yeah, I think so. Are you?" And I'm like, "No, I mean that's your job. You know, that's your job to get. You know." And so we had stayed in contact for about the next 3-4 weeks as he's going through the interview process, talking with Terry Rupert, the athletic director, and all that stuff, and just throughout the whole thing, did you get it yet? Did you get it yet? Did you get an on-campus interview? And just stayed in contact, and eventually he got offered a job. He's like, "You coming?" I'm like, "Yeah, absolutely." And then we get here in January, and my wife was still in North Carolina at the time, and he's like, "Well, you can just crash with me," and he's renting his house, and it was just me and him. And we would go to work all day, hit the road recruiting, go into schools, and then we come back. And me and him would literally, and I'm a big guy now, he's a little guy, but we're sitting on his love seat, hip to hip, texting kids, you know, watching, you know, NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs, and just me and him, like we're doing in Heidelberg.
Yeah, just like brothers.
Yeah, and then we got Coach Vernon to come on, and Coach Vernon, he put in a folding chair right next to us, and it was like we had a little fraternity house up there.
And that's what makes it happen, though. And you guys together, and you can see that culture is changing there at Wilmington, and the way you guys do it, and the things you guys have done, and being a part. I mean, I love being a part of. I love Campus Nation being a part of Wilmington College being a part of it. That's what it's all about. And when you guys come on our show each and every week, you guys bring the atmosphere. I can tell how you could change these kids. You take a bunch of kids. You have 55 new recruits this year. You guys got 90 men on your roster, whatever it is. You guys got 90 men on the roster, and you're sitting there, and you come in, you take a bunch of seniors that win 0 ball games, and now we're winning ball games, competing each and every week. Of course, you got your big schools, Mount Union. Let's build a program. Absolutely. I mean, let's be for real. That's what we're doing. We're building this program, and that's what you guys are doing. And where do you guys look to be here in 4 years here at Wilmington?
Yeah, that's a good question. I wish I could tell the future. Chris, you know what I mean? I wish I could tell the future. You know what I mean? Because I think Brian and his wife would be a lot happier, and my wife would be a lot happier as well if we could tell the future. But I think it starts with the process. There's a vision. Obviously, Coach Moore's vision is such. Yeah. And then it's a process from there. It's doing, winning is a byproduct of doing everything the right way. That's Coach Moore's big philosophy: is do all the little things right, and all the wins will add up. We have not once talked to our kids about the scoreboard or the win-loss column. It's about us and changing our culture and doing things right all the time, on and off the field, in the classroom, in the community, and that's where it starts. And to go back to the original conversation was our chemistry as a coaching staff and how that fuels our kids, and I think our kids see that. I think our kids see how me and Coach Moore interact and how Coach Byrne interacts with us, and Coach Thomas and Coach Kennedy. I think that's huge that you have that camaraderie, but also we need to stay here together. You know what I mean? We need to stay together, and that cohesiveness to fuel the recruiting and to fuel our kids and to change that culture. And as our kids have done, those seniors you talked about, there's 14 of them. They've done an unbelievable job of changing and buying in and doing things that they've never been asked to do. You know what I mean? But now they see the results, and now they're all in, and now it's easy. It's easy. They're
drinking the Kool-Aid, like you said.
It becomes easy. So.
Now, tell me real quick, and of course I appreciate you so much for coming here today.
Absolutely.
On halftime.
I wouldn't have missed it.
I just real quick, I wanted you to explain something. David Henry was the guy that played at Wilmington High School.
Yeah.
Coming in this year, it's David's senior year. What has he brought to the table? How do you feel about David Henry?
Oh, David's awesome. David's an awesome guy. He's one of those kids that he's a super student. He got great grades. You know what I mean? So he does everything the right way in all aspects of his life. You know what I mean? On the field, he's a fierce competitor. In the weight room, he's one of our strongest guys. In the classroom, he's in our top 10 academically, grade point wise. And then, outside of that, he's an RA as well too. So he's taking care of the dorms for us too. He's like that all-American kid that you want, and you're proud to coach, because again, you don't really have to worry about David. You don't have to worry about what he's doing on a Saturday night or a Wednesday night in college. He's doing all the right things all the time, and he has been so critical to the culture buy-in. And when we first got here, me and Coach Moore, as we're sitting there in our love seat together, in our fraternity house, you know what I mean? You talk about, okay, who can we get to buy in? Who's our main guys? If we get these guys to buy in, shoot. Well, David was one of those guys. You know what I mean? David, and then C.J. Thomas was another one, and then Luke Credit was the third one. Those were our 3 big dogs, and hey, they've been producing pretty well for us this year.
Coach, I appreciate you coming in.
Absolutely.
This is Coach Filipovich, defense coordinator, assistant head coach at Wilmington College Quakers. You guys are changing the culture.
Yes,
you
sir.
and Coach Moore, my dudes. Hey,
yes,
keep grinding.
Yeah.
Heidelberg, you're going back. Hey, get a big win.
Yeah.
Hey, let's do things right.
We're going to see what we can do for sure.
Thanks, Coach, for being on.
Appreciate it.
We're going to turn it over to our sponsors before we get back to Coach Ray back here.
Modern Woodman offers financial services and fraternal member benefits to individual and family services. Servicing Southwest Ohio, Matt Mora is the local managing partner and is located at 120 Fairway Drive, Wilmington, Ohio. His phone number is 937-383-3400. Matt can help you with all of your financial needs. Potluck Greenhouse, first annual Amazing Fall Festival is taking place on the weekends from September 30th, 2017 through November 5th. Potluck is located at 6555 West State Route 73, just off I-71 near Wilmington. They offer 5-acre corn maze, hayride, pumpkin patch, bouncy houses, food vendor, local honey, and moms. Hours of family fun entertainment await all at Potluck Greenhouse. Pick your own pumpkins, enjoy some apple cider, and relaxing afternoon at Potluck Greenhouse. For more information, contact 937-382-8312 or potluckgreenhouse.com.
Ride brings the Clinton County Fields alive. Every Friday and Saturday night now through October 28th, experience the fire-breathing ceremonies. On the board the sidewalk school buses for a haunted ride you'll never forget. Terror in the Chorus, Strawberry Hotel, and the all-new Evil Asylum will chill you to the bone. Wilmington Haunted Hollow Ride, 1261 West Dalton. For more information and directions, go to WilmingtonHauntedHollowRide.com.
The Final Resting Place Haunted Junkyard. The Final Resting Place Haunted Junkyard is located at 988 Polk Road in Sabina, Ohio. Their hours of operation are 8 p.m. till midnight every Friday and Saturday from now until October 28th. Prepare for torment from freaks of nature like Pig Boy, Patient 5150, Dr. Nightmare, and Buffalo. New in 2017 is a second attraction, Lights Out. For more information, you can contact the Final Resting Place at 937-728-6190, thefinalrestingplace.com, or their Facebook page.
It's a tough situation here, you know. He's got some good athletes.
Potluck Greenhouse, first annual Amazing Fall Festival is taking place on the weekends from September 30th, 2017 through November 5th. Potluck is located at 6555 West State Route 73, just off of I-71 near Wilmington. They offer 5-acre corn maze, hayride, pumpkin patch, bouncy houses, food vendors, local honey, and moms. Hours of family fun entertainment await all at Potluck Greenhouse. Pick your own pumpkins, enjoy some apple cider, and a relaxing afternoon at Potluck Greenhouse. For more information, contact 937-382-8312 or potluckgreenhouse.com. Modern Woodman offers financial services and fraternal members benefits to individuals and family servicing Southwest Ohio. Matt Moore is the local managing partner and is located at 120 Fairway Drive, Wilmington, Ohio. His phone number is 937-383-3400. Matt can help you with all your financial needs.
It's probably one of the better teams I've seen. Yeah. I've been able to see 17 years.
The Final Resting Place Haunted Junkyard is located at 988 Polk Road in Sabina, Ohio. Their hours of operation are 8 p.m. till midnight every Friday and Saturday from now until October 28th. Prepare for torment from freaks of nature like Pig Boy, Patient 5150, Dr. Nightmare, and Buffalo. New in 2017 is a second attraction, Lights Out. For more information, you can contact the Final Resting Place at 937-728-6190, thefinalrestingplace.com, or their Facebook page.
You guys got a game tomorrow?
Ride brings the Clinton County Fields alive. Every Friday and Saturday night now through October 28th, experience the fire-breathing ceremonies. Board the sidewalk school buses for a haunted ride you'll never forget. Terror in the Chorus, Strawberry Hotel, and the all-new Evil Asylum will chill you to the bone. Wilmington Haunted Hollow Ride, 1261 West Dalton. For more information and directions, go to WilmingtonHauntedHollowRide.com.
Good to see you.
Potluck Greenhouse first annual Amazing Fall Festival is taking place on the weekends from September 30th, 2017 through November 5th. Potluck is located at 6555 West State Route 73, just off of I-71 near Wilmington. They offer 5-acre corn maze, hayride, pumpkin patch, bouncy houses, food vendors, local honey, and moms. Hours of family fun and entertainment await all at Potluck Greenhouse. Pick your own pumpkins, enjoy some apple cider, and relaxing afternoon at Potluck Greenhouse. Greenhouse. More information, contact 937-382-8313 or potluckgreenhouse.com.
And everybody has their own personality. It's not the
MC's Bar and Grill is located at 961 South Street, Wilmington, Ohio. MC's hours of operations are 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. Monday through Thursday and 6 a.m. to midnight Friday and Saturday. MC's offer daily food specials, happy hour, a full bar, and starting October 16th, breakfast. For more information, MC's phone number is 937-382-0990.
Well, I will tell you, the staff is probably, more of the
Hollow Ride brings the Clinton County Fields alive. Every Friday and Saturday night now through October 28th, experience the fire-breathing sounds. Aboard the sawdust school buses for a haunted ride you'll never forget. Terror in the Chorus, Robert Hotel, and the all-new Evil Asylum will chill you to the bone. Wilmington Hollow Ride, 1261 West Dalton. For more information and directions, go WilmingtonHollowRide.com.
The final resting place, Haunted Junkyard, is located at 988 Polk Road in Sabina, Ohio. Their hours of operation are 8 p.m. till midnight every Friday and Saturday from now until October 28th. Prepare for torment from freaks of nature like Pig Boy, Patient 5150, Dr. Nightmare, and Buffalo. New in 2017 is a second attraction, Lights Out. For more information, you can contact the final resting place at 937-728-6190, thefinalrestingplace.com, or their Facebook page.
And welcome back here to Alumni Field in Wilmington, Ohio. I'm Bill the Razor Rayback, and this is the Campus Nation presentation of the Wilmington High School Clinton-Massie football game, and I'm joined right now by a friend, colleague, mentor, Matt Baker, the superintendent of Clinton-Massie High School and schools in general. And Matt, doesn't look like Massey's missed a step here.
No, I think for the most part came out with a game plan that said let's be tough, let's be strong, let's maybe bully a little bit, and it looks like that's the direction the game's going right now. I think that Wilmington, obviously a rivalry game. I actually talked to Scott Kellen this week, called him and just wished him luck and said I understand everything's going on with his injuries and things like that. So we also wanted to be respectful with the passing of that young man, so we put the helmet stickers on and just made sure he was good with that. But he said we're going to give it the best shot, but we're gonna have to have some things go right. We get a punt return to start the game off, as Pop was saying.
And you guys had that sealed off really well. I mean, we said if Wilmington gave a little penetration through that wall, but you guys sealed it off and you got there. So.
Did a good job. Got an athlete back there that's returning punts all year long. So it's gone well for us. Blocked the punt, got a fumble recovery. So we're definitely moving in the right direction.
Good. And we pointed that out watching Massey, of course, as a coach, and then as a commentator over the last few years. What you can't do against you guys is turn the ball over, because what you do is you turn it into 6. And that was one of our, points for the game, is that if Wilmington can keep the ball out of Massey's hands and be able to possess the ball, which they had a couple opening drives where they were able to move. We thought there would be a chance to stay in the game, but this is where Massey's strong. When you guys get up by, 4 or 5 touchdowns, it's tough to keep the kids going.
We definitely like to hold the ball at that point.
Yes,
we want to churn a little bit.
Yeah.
I would agree, the administrative staff is over there supporting on the sidelines, and after that punt return for a touchdown and then maybe a turnover there, we looked at each other and said it's going to be tough for them to stay in the game if they do that. So we're lucky that the ball bounced our way, and like you said, turned it into 6.
Yeah. So Matt, looking at your fall sports, some of the highlights, we don't get to talk a lot about the cross country or the girls tennis. Why don't you lead us through some of those successes in the fall?
We actually had a very successful fall campaign in all sports. Tennis did exceptionally well. We actually had 2 district qualifiers, and we had a doubles district qualifier for the first time in our tennis history, basically. Cross country, we have a guy running districts tomorrow. That's up at Troy, Ohio. We'll have the Levy run they call it. It's actually a very neat run if you haven't been up there to see it. We had a great golf. Our golf actually was the SBAAC champions, men's golf. So successful programs. Volleyball is turning some things around. Had a couple seasons there where they're just moving forward and kind of established a couple things this year. The girls volleyball in SBAAC is no slouch whatsoever. I mean, they've got some strong teams. New Richmond's a strong team. We played Blanchester and they were tough. I mean, so we feel like we're able to compete in all sports at this point. But obviously, being Massey, we want to try to stretch and flex our muscle a little bit and come in, especially in the first year. Our saying for the last 18 months since I started my tenure is leave no doubt. So it kind of made sense as we were leaving the SCOL. We kind of wanted to make sure we're leaving no doubt who the best team was, and you guys didn't want to play with us, so we had to go out and find somebody else that did. And then as we come into this new league, we wanted to say the same thing. Hey, it's leave no doubt, we're here, and while we're here, we're gonna compete. So,
looking ahead, Matt, with basketball, wrestling, you guys have lacrosse now too. I want to talk to you a little bit about
as a club sport. Yeah.
Right. How's that going, and what's the time schedule with lacrosse?
Sure, I'll tell you, one of the most active and energetic parent groups that you'll ever meet, and I say that in an absolutely positive way. They're always doing fundraisers, always doing positive things for the kids, getting donations. I mean, they get thousands of dollars worth of equipment donated to them. It's on its way up. There's a positive vibe in the program. Unfortunately, we're looking at some financial things right now, and we're not able to bring it in as a varsity sport just yet. The plan is that we want to do that. We just want to make sure that as we bring it in, we're supportive of it, and we don't want to bring in new things when we're not sure exactly where the finances are going. But we'll get those things straightened out, and I have every confidence that we'll be able to move forward with it very soon.
Now, do you think that'll be? Are you looking at that strictly as a boys' sport right now, or is the goal to have girls and boys?
Right now it's just boys that I've seen, unless another faculty member maybe steps up and wants to start a girls' club, which I would be in full support of. That's a benefit of the turf. The turf, which has been there for over 10 years, is a blessing to us because we have those multiple sports that can practice all the time. So it's exciting.
Yeah, and I know when you were at East Clinton and we had talked about this, there was an incredible interest in lacrosse for whatever reason. Just seems to be the thing that the kids like right now.
I mean, I think you know the statistics. It's the fastest growing sport in the country. I mean, and it's not even close, really.
Right.
Yeah, it's going to be great. So.
Okay, well, Matt, we're getting ready to start the second half. I appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule.
It. Great talking to you. Great educator. Yep. I look forward to seeing you tonight and talking with you. And I know you do a great job like you do with everything.
Thanks, man.
All right, have a good night.
Matt Baker, the superintendent. Getting the second half going here in a second with 28. Well, we timed that one just right, Chris. We got about 28 seconds before the kickoff. So, looking into the second half, and Matt has seen this with the Massey team throughout the year here. This is the tough thing for the opponents is when you're getting into that point where if they punch in another touchdown here, the clock starts running, and it really shortens your opportunity to get back into the football game.
Real quick before we get started, we'd like to go to a sponsor here. We have Mary Ann here.
Offers financial services and fraternal member benefits to individuals and families in Southwest Ohio. Matt Moore is the local managing partner and is located at 120 Railroad Drive, Wilmington, Ohio. His phone number is 937-383-3000. Matt can help you with all of your financial needs.
Also, we'd like to thank Potluck Greenhouse. Potluck Greenhouse, first annual Amazing Fall Festivals, is taking place on the weekends from September 30th, 2017 through November 5th. Potluck is located at 655 West State Route 73, just off of I-71 near Wilmington. They offer a 5-acre corn maze, hayride, pumpkin patch, bouncy houses, food vendors, local honey, and mums. Hours of family fun and entertainment await all at Potluck Greenhouse.
Enjoy some apple cider and relax in afternoon at Potluck Greenhouse. For more information, contact 937-383-8312 or potluckgreenhouse.com.
Well, our thanks there to Chris and Marianne with the promos. And guys, so as I was saying, Chris, we go into the second half. Massey's ahead 27-0. Every possession becomes that much more important for the Hurricane.
Oh yeah, and when you look at Wilmington, they've done a decent job starting off. Then they let Massey just run over them at the top. Back-to-back plays, but like you said, I believe when Massey gets a rolling, they just roll. Yes. I mean, you don't let them get on a roll, man. You got to keep that ball in your hands, keep punching, keep attacking, make them play your football. Don't play Clinton-Massie football, because Clinton-Massie football is tough football.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of years ago when Mike Tyson was on his roll as the heavyweight champion, and Evander Holyfield beat him, and Holyfield said, you got to stand in front of him and hit him in the mouth. If you hit him in the mouth, he's just like any other guy. And that's what teams do with Massey, is they just don't deliver that punch and let Massey know, hey, we're here on the same level as you guys. So hopefully Wilmington can do that in the second half and get this thing rolling again.
So if you're just now tuning in to campusnation.com here, we're getting ready to start the second half. 23 seconds till we started at Alumni Field. Wilmington Hurricanes 0, Clinton-Massie Falcons 27. Coach Scott Killen, this is his fourth year as the head coach of the Wilmington Hurricanes. He's yet to beat Clinton-Massie. Of course, that's where he started his coaching career. Right? Got 2 state titles as a defense coordinator. Done a great job as a defense coordinator. What's some of the things you think that Coach Killen, can offer Wilmington against Clinton-Massie just due to being the defense coordinator for him?
Well, not that, I've always said this, you could give a team a playbook, and it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to stop it. If you watch film, pretty much, probably film's more important than even having the playbook, because you'll see how the players run the play. But it does give you a little bit of an advantage, and I think even from a psychological standpoint, your team looks at you saying, okay, he was defensive coordinator there, so he knows the inner workings of this. So I think that gives you a little bit of an edge, at least from a psychological standpoint.
Well, I agree. So Wilmington's set to kick it off. Brady Henry there. Brady Henry's been their big kicker. Of course, they got Rory Bell. He's a sophomore that can kick it too. Done a great job this year, And it's great having two kickers that are very, very great on their football team. I don't know how Coach makes that decision whether, hey, we're going to play Brady Henry or Rory Bell.
I guess
Rory's got a strong foot.
Now, are they both, not knowing what grade they're in?
Sophomore and junior.
Sophomore and junior. So maybe is that the deciding factor, I guess?
Of course, Brady, he's a junior, but also Rory Bell, being a sophomore, he's behind Brady Henry here, and but Brady's got a strong foot, and he's very accurate. Last against Goshen, they was down on the 20. He kicked 3 in a row. They called timeout once, and they had 2 false start penalties, and he made all 3. And they go up, and they tied Goshen up at 17-all.
Well, it's a definite weapon when you've got a kid with an arm like that. Oh, a little onside action there. Ball's rolling around. It's recovered by Massey there about the 32-yard line. And why not? I mean, you're down 27-0. You got to throw caution to the wind and get in there and make some things happen if you're going to get back into the game.
Yeah, and basically they still got a decent field position here. They offered Massey and not kick it deep to their great special teams play. And, of course, they brought it back to the 30, 35 every time anyway. So why not throw a little squib type onside at them?
And I always subscribe to that kind of philosophy there. Okay, so we've got looks like a little bit of a broken bone, and is that Pointer? Don't know. That was Christian Pointer starts out the second half with about a 4-yard gain out to the 37-yard line.
Brought down there by Sloan Marsh again. Looks like Wilmington's went to a 5-man front. They've basically been a 4-2 defense.
4-2 defense
all year, and they know what Massey's going to throw at them, so they're going to a 5-man front here.
Well, your linebackers can't make plays if they're getting to second level, so Okay, wishbone formation by Massey, and Rudy is out to the 41-yard line on a quick hitter, just short of a first down. That's going to bring up a 3rd and 2.
It's a great play by Franz Hariska. I mean, to make that tackle. I mean, he was broke free to the outside, but Franz still didn't. He chased him down from behind and brings up 3rd and 2 there for Clinton-Massie.
So 3rd and 2 for Massey. I would suspect that we're going to see their familiar wishbone here, and yes, we do. And so Massey out in the bone with the split receiver to the left. Oh. And I believe they caught the Hurricane in a...
Coach, explain it, encroachment there on Wilmington's defense side of football. How important is it to change the snap count in the game of football?
Well, because the defensive line can time it up, it's extremely important, especially if a team is getting an edge on you. You've got to do that, or else it's going to bite you, because it gives the defensive line just that advantage where they can get off a little bit quicker. Okay, a little counter action there out of the wishbone, and Pointer is able to pick up a couple yards.
Brought down there by Garrett Hickey there. Of course, another senior there. Garrett's played well all year long. He's a monster on the defense side of the football for him.
And Chris, this is always a tough game for seniors, especially when they're facing the end of their career. Because for most of them, they're not going to be playing on Saturdays.
No.
So, wishbone formation, split receiver to the right for Massey at the 47-yard line. And lose the handle on the ball. And maybe there's a scrum down there. We'll see. Maybe the Hurricane came up with the ball. This would be a big... No, Massey's able to recover it. So it's going to be about 3rd and 9 here. And...
we have training now here, so, I mean, little loose handles going to happen. That ball's going to get a little slicker. I mean, we're thinking,
And it's cold.
Yeah, and it's cold.
So, the hands were, first half wasn't that bad, but now you get that cold rain. It's going to make it harder to handle the ball. And wishbone formation, and a pass by Clinton-Massie as they throw the ball downfield, but...
Luke Richardson there, when they throw the ball, they're going to Luke Richardson, and that's what really changed it up with Clinton-Massie. Usually they go to their tight end like we was talking about earlier. Usually it's a flag route, maybe a post route over the middle, but the beginning of the year when they went against East Clinton, it was 3rd and 8, I believe, on a play, and they go Luke Richardson backside. Every now and then they will go to Luke, and Luke's fast. I mean, he's a solid athlete, and they're going to be expecting him in the playoffs. They're going to use him a lot more.
And over the years, I've always admired Massey's success for the 1 and 2 receiver routes they run, because you would think that you would be able to cover a 1-man route or 2-man route. And that ball is fielded by the Hurricanes' Cam Coomer, and he gets the ball out to the 26-yard line, and there's some dirty laundry on the field there, so we'll see what that is. Probably a block in the back, as we always see, Chris.
So over in Courthouse, Courthouse leads Miami Trace 28-6. Our other broadcast crew's over there covering that game tonight with Rick Phillips over there.
Nice job for Courthouse this year. They've turned the corner a little bit.
Yeah, and you look at Miami Trace there, it's a big rivalry game, Both teams, of course, Trace is on a down spell. I mean, they're not doing real well this year.
Right.
Basically, in their past, they've been a very dominant powerhouse football team.
Well, Chris, I'm from the northeast part of the state and coached a long time in the northwest. And the one program we always heard about down here was Miami Trace. That was Art Schleister came out of there, Miles Schleister came out. So you'd hear these things about Trace. So there was always something that you'd hear about, and that program has definitely fallen on some hard times.
Nathan Williams, another Buckeye there. He did a pretty good job. He was a solid athlete. Right. So Miami Trace had some big potential athletes there.
They have. 3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. McIntosh in the shotgun with his back set off to his right. Gets the ball out. And broken up there by number 24 for the Falcons. And that is Jeffrey Passage.
That was a nice job by Cam Coomer to come back to the football. Usually he'd have kept running. He's a young sophomore, and he came back to the football, kind of fought back, broke that that interception up. And as a receiver, sometimes you got to turn to that defensive guy and say, you know what, hey, I'm going to battle for my quarterback. Let's just get this on the ground, incomplete pass, and move on to the next play.
Oh, jet sweep to Schiff. Schiff gets to the corner. He's at the 30, to the 35, up to the 40, 45, and no farther, but a nice little run by Schiff. And
you look at Craig Schiff here. Craig Schiff's been a solid running back. What surprises me is Wilmington has went away from that jet sweep. They do a zone read off that DN with Schiff and Mason McIntosh a lot, and they've went away from it tonight.
I think if you're going to run the zone read, you have to have a steady diet of that jet sweep in there to spread the defense out.
Yeah.
Okay, Schiff again in motion. This time they give it to Ames. Ames is up to the 50, down to 45, down to the 43-yard line.
This is what I'm liking about Wilmington right now. They're not giving up. They're saying, hey, listen, let's play for these seniors. This is the second half. We're down 27-0, but we're going to keep laying it on them. We're going to give them the wood. Let's do this. It's Friday night. Let's go.
Let's get back in the game, and let's get it rolling here. So.
And I think they need to give the ball to Craig Schiff a lot more. I mean, Schiff's that guy. He's low center of gravity. He's a great football player. They need to do a lot more of this jet sweep.
Well, and if you keep Ames between the tackles and give Schiff the outside work, and then, of course, you add in the run by McIntosh every now and then, now you've got a three-prong attack.
Yeah.
So 3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. McIntosh gives the ball to Ames.
Oh, no. That's what I like about McIntosh. He really sells his fakes well. He does it to us every week up here, and you're like, man, did he give it all? Did he hand it off? Did he keep it? And that's when you excel fakes well instead of -6 yards, taking up 3.
Right. Now, the nice thing, what Massey did well, is when you play a team that runs some form of option, it's assignment football, and they tackled the running back whether they had the ball or not. They were going to make sure that he did not have the football on that.
Exactly.
And there's a fade pattern up the sideline.
On a Cam Coomer again.
Cam Coomer, and I don't know how big McIntosh's hands are, but when you get into wet weather, one of the worst things a quarterback can do is try to overgrip the ball, because then it's like a banana when you're trying to throw it. So it makes it doubly tough.
3rd and 7 here.
So they're on the 46-yard line of Clinton-Massie with 7:41 to go in the 3rd period.
And I think Coach Gillen made his adjustments at halftime. Him and Coach Wolf, said, listen, this is what we're going to do. We need to keep the ball on the ground, control this clock, let's get out of here, and try to score some points.
2-by-2 formation. We get Schiff and jet motion. And again, and that was Matt Smith, it looks like.
We got Coach Kellen down here. I think he's going to get a flag here. He ran out on the field, out by the numbers. But you know what? When you're a coach and things like that, you see something, you can't blame a coach. He's into it. He's ready to rock and roll.
Right.
So we'll go down to the officiating crew on the field.
Of course, you just have to be aware of that you don't want to get yourself that second one. Of course, that costs you a little money and a class that you got to go to. So,
yeah.
But at this point, I guess you make a statement to the team. You say, I'm not giving up, and you want them to feel that. So what better way than to take that 15-yarder and hopefully it fires the troops up.
And you know what I like to see out here? Wilmington High School fans, it's raining. They're down 27-0. They're still out here battling for their team.
Yep.
They're supporting their team. And that's what, when you change a culture, change a program, you change everything. People are going to stand behind you no matter what. And that's what I think, over at East Clinton, things like that, we've got to stick together.
Yeah.
I mean, people's got to stick together. You've coached a long time, and having the support of your community is everything.
Oh, it is. It is. Well, bring the community together for a common cause is a difficult thing.
It is.
So, punt time for the Hurricanes, and they get the ball out, and it rolls down to inside the punt and keeps on rolling all the way down to almost the 10-yard line.
That was a great job by quarterback Mason McIntosh. He's a gunner out there on the punt team. he gets down the field and makes a beeline to their kicker, and that kicker's sitting back there like, man, I'm not fielding this. That's what causes it. If you got two good gunners that can get down there and say, hey, man, I'm not getting hit by this guy, and he's down there, that's what causes, you know, a punt like
good
that.
rolls like that. Yeah. And the other thing is, if your gunners do their job and they get through that first wave, there is no returns. The ball's got to come up through the middle. Now, don't get me wrong. Occasionally somebody will negotiate the middle of the field. But if you can keep them from getting to the sideline like they did on that first return. So, here we go. We got 1st and 10 from Massey.
What a big hit there by Wilmington. I think that was their linebacker, number 40 there. That was Brett Bell. He really lit Pointer up there.
Yes, he did. So we've got 2nd and 10 from the 11-yard line. Clinton-Massie leads 27-0 here at Alumni Field in Wilmington.
Wilmington's came out this second half ready to play some football.
Yeah, they have. They've been playing well, and Massey in the wishbone formation. Looks like it's Collingham again.
There was Sloan Marsh, you know, he came up, and that's one thing I like about Sloan. And I know that was a 7-yard gain by Collingham, 8, 9, 10-yard gain.
Right.
But Sloan Marsh will play safety, outside backer, but he'll come up and make a play on you. He will hit you hard, and that's what I like about Sloan Marsh.
Yeah, Collingham is it's a tough guy. You know, the fullback's the guy that does the dirty work, and then he popped it in there for a good 7, 8-yard gain. So, and a little quick pitch to Pointer. Pointer's out to the right side.
Brett Bell again, all over it, man. But the thing is, getting 5, 6 yards, that's killing you. But Brett Bell's walked down to a defensive end, and he's playing contain. He stretched that out, gained 6 yards.
Well, the thing is, though, Chris, is with a team like Massey, you'd rather see them pick up the 5 or 6 yards and have them have to snap the ball more times. Because the more times they have to snap, the better chance there's going to be a turnover. It's when they're getting chunk plays, 20, 30 yards, and that's when you really feel like you don't have a chance.
Number 27 for Massey picks up personal foul there.
So Massey is set back. There's 6:09 to go in the third period, 27-0 in favor of the Clinton-Massie Falcons, who are, Chris, you know, they're looking at the playoffs here. They are controlling their destiny here as where they may be playing. Of course, a win here probably gets them a home game next week.
Yes, of course, the loss to Goshen. I haven't heard an updated score to Goshen and New Richmond. New Richmond beats them. They all tie for league championship.
Right.
But, like you say here, Massey needs to get to the playoffs. That's what their number one thing is. Right.
Yeah, they have to take care of business for themselves.
Look at them fighting down there. Yeah. And that's what Wilmington's not laying down. You know, they're still fighting and battling. And that's what I like about it. That shows true character of the Wilmington defense.
So 5:30 to go here in the third quarter.
And, you know, I think, Scott, if anybody knows Coach McShirley's offense, every week he's sitting there, you know, preparing, you know, each week. When he was at Clinton-Massie, he had his defense going against Massey's offense, scout team offense. If anybody knows it, it's him.
Yep.
Well, let's go to a commercial break here.
Okay.
Go to an advertisement.
Hollow Ride brings to Clinton County Fields every Friday and Saturday night now through October 28th. Experience the fire-breathing ceremonies. Glorious sidewalk school buses from Haunted Ride will never forget. Terror in the Chorus, Strawberry Hotel, and the all-new Evil Asylum will chill you to the bone. Wilmington Hollow Ride, 1261 West Dalton. For more information and directions, go to WilmingtonHollowRide.com.
Okay, we're back here. We are at 5:25 in the third quarter. Clinton-Massie is on a run to Pointer, and Pointer's to 30, 40, 50, 40, 30, dragged down by the Hurricane.
Luckily, Francisca, you know, got to the outside there. He was gone.
Yes.
That was a big play there.
Yeah, and Pointer was adding to his rushing totals there with Looked like a good 60-yard run there, Coach.
And, and Pointer's a very tough athlete, like we said early. This is just what he brings to the offense. I was surprised they didn't go to him early. Right. In the first quarter, they went 5 or 6 plays not giving him the ball, but they knew what they was doing. Right. Coming out.
Right. Okay. So Massey comes out in their bone eye, split to right, and they give the ball to Collingham.
We got a flag down here on the 23-yard line.
Getting kind of chippy down there, Chris, in the trenches.
Yeah, they're really fighting, Wilmington, they're not giving up, and that's one thing I like about the Hurricanes. They fought the second half like they haven't fought before.
Right. And we'll get this sorted out here as the Zebra goes pick up his hanky.
Of course, Clinton-Massie, they're averaging 235 up front, man. They're a big football team.
They are a big football team. So
they got a personal foul there.
Yes. Okay.
We got some boos from the Clinton-Massie fans.
Yeah, they just it's slowing them down a little bit here, and with 4:49 to go in the third period, Massey's faced here with looks like about a 2nd and 22. What kind of play do you run here, Chris? 2nd and 22.
If I'm Clinton-Massie, they're probably going to keep it on the ground or throw it to a tight end here.
Yes. Double slot.
Tight end
action fake, and there's a single receiver route to
Luke Richardson.
Richardson picks up the 22 yards. There's the play, Coach.
There's the play. We've coached long enough. We know what Clinton-Massie's going to run. Right. I just don't understand why the safety. If you're a safety, and I tell everyone, like if you're Clinton-Massie, you're running a bunch package, you got to look for a flag route outside.
Right.
I mean, your safety's got to be over top of everything. He's pass read first. He's over the top.
It's just they get him so used to the run. They had the play action pitch there, and then they bite up just for a second, enough time to let Richardson get deep. And Pointer is up the right side, and looks like he just gets in the end zone on a 14-yard run. And
when you got Clinton-Massie pinned back, 2nd and 15, 2nd and 22, you're looking at them. They're going to attack something. I mean, they're up 27-0.
Right.
Look for a pass. They're working on the playoffs right now. They're working on getting better. They're going to hit those small things just like a pass.
Right.
Something they can work on to get better at that they don't normally do.
For sure. They're not going to, go out there and just lay down, because there's always something a football team can improve on. And especially, going into week 11, there'll be parts of your game that you want to shore up, because each week is going to get a little harder after this week. So that makes it 34-0 at 4:04 to go in the third period in favor of Clinton-Massie. And, at this point, the clock's going to run, Chris, unless the Hurricane scores. So they do want to get down the field and get some points on the board so they can keep that clock on their side if there's an opportunity for them to get back in the game.
Now, if you're Coach Killen, Coach Wolf's offense here, if you're Coach Wolf, they've been successful running the ball, keeping the ball on the ground, doing the jet sweep, doing their play action zone read, handing it off to DJ every now and then. Going to a pass, you think that's a bad idea now that it's slick, it's wet?
I don't really see it. If you're, this is the thing. If you have to come out of character, I think that usually doesn't lead to good things for you. And I think that's what's going to happen here with the rain. And now you're forced to throw. I think you're going to have to come out. You're going to say, okay, we got to stick to our guns here. Maybe the rain stops, but then again, maybe it doesn't. And the ball is kicked off down the 15-yard line, and Shereska back up to the 37. Nice little return there, Coach.
Oh, yeah, you go front Shereska. This is his last game, and he's still moving. He saved a touchdown back here by Pointer when he come back, and he made that. He could have laid down and said, you know what, I'm not going to run anymore. I'm going to let that kid score. He's already passed me, but he stops him on the 30, gives Wilmington an opportunity to hold him to fourth down.
Yes.
Of course, it was 2nd and 20 or 2nd and 22, and they throw a big ball to Luke Richardson.
Right.
But at least that hustle by Franz, there was great.
Right. That was a nice return. Good effort by the senior. And a shout out to another senior here on the Hurricane squad is Jaron Evans, former player of mine over at East Clinton. And I'd like to say hello to the Evans family, always supportive of my efforts at East Clinton. And Jaron was always one of our model players, giving us the best he had every play.
And, Jaron, great. I coached him 4 years of football as well, right, in the youth level. Great football player, and I like watching Jaron play each and every week. He'll give you 110%, and it's nice to see him go out on a winning, note here.
Right. So we've got 3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. McIntosh in the gun with the running back off to his right, and he hands the ball off to, was it Ames?
Yeah.
And nothing going there as the Massey defensive line is able to penetrate. Appears to be about forward progress will probably only make it about a 3-yard loss there.
Wilmington's played very well this second half. They've done a great job, keeping in ball control, doing things. Massey's had a couple big plays, put them in scoring position. But
absolutely.
Basically, it's a 7-0 game here in the second half, really.
Yep. 3 to the right, and a little screen play. Well diagnosed by Clinton-Massie.
That was the U-trick there, wasn't it? No, that was Thomas Myers there.
Number 9, yeah. Myers, though.
And he read that well.
Yeah. And, defensive linemen, you always tell them, Chris, is if all of a sudden, you've been getting resistance, and all of a sudden they just let you come through, the screen's coming, and sure enough, that's what they did.
Yeah, and when you feel funny, you're like, man, this just ain't right.
No, this ain't right. It wasn't that easy all game, and all of a sudden you get through. So, but screens are effective. And
they are.
Okay, trips to the right, 1 receiver to the left for McIntosh. McIntosh takes it, rolls. He's under pressure. It looks like he's going nowhere, Coach, as he's dragged down about the 12-yard line.
Brought down there by number 55, Samuel Brothers.
Right. So it's punt time for the Hurricane with 49 seconds to go in the third period. And this is where it gets kind of, the special teams and punting gets kind of precarious when your back's to the end zone and it's raining like this. You got to make sure you secure the football and get a foot on it and just get it out of there.
So we'll see the true character here of Wilmington here, being down, 34-0 here in the third quarter. And that really shows the true character of a ball team. Sometimes, you know what, you got to win those small battles. Right. Let's win a couple battles here and there.
Well, and all they do, they get the kick off, they get it out to about the 34-yard line. And so that's where Clinton-Massie will take over on their own 34. And I think that'll probably be that is the end of the third period. So we'll move to the fourth quarter here with the score 34-0 in favor of the Clinton-Massie Falcons here at Alumni Field in Wilmington.
Of course, they're up, Clinton-Massie's up 30 points. It's going to be a continuous clock unless Wilmington can score.
Right.
And, of course, it'll be a continuous clock here in the second half.
Well, it's going to be, that makes it all that much more important for them to stop Massey, because if Massey gets up to 41, then we probably aren't going to see the running clock stop. So
yeah.
So we'll see how this plays out here. I would imagine we're going to probably see a few clean shirts for the Falcons.
We'll go to a commercial break real quick.
The final resting place, Haunted Junkyard, is located at 988 Polk Road in Sabina, Ohio. Their hours of operation are 8 p.m. till midnight every Friday and Saturday from now until October 28th. Prepare for torment from freaks of nature like Pig Boy, Patient 5150, Dr. Nightmare, and Buffalo. New in 2017 is a second attraction, Lights Out. For more information, you can contact the final resting place at 937-728-6190. thefinalrestingplace.com or their Facebook page.
And we're back here at Alumni Field in Wilmington, and 1st and 10 play for Clinton-Massie results in about a 1-yard gain for pointer of Massey, and Actually, I don't even think he got one. So it looks like it'll be 2nd and 10 again for Massey at the Wilmington 34-yard line.
Looks like Massey's going to keep their first team on the field here.
Yeah.
34-0.
I'm kind of surprised by that.
Yeah, me too.
Wishbone with a split to the right and pitch out to Rudy.
To the Falcons, number 6, Grant Ruby with the carry.
And Ruby is able to get the ball down to about the 26-yard line, looks like 25.
Now, if you're Coach Dan McShirley here and you're up 34 points, continuous clock here, I mean, what if a kid gets hurt here? I mean, what if you have a kid, a running back, get hurt? I don't know. As a coach, I'm probably pulling, but of course you're moving on, working on things. I mean, what do you do here as a coach?
I would not have them in if I'm in the playoffs, because this is where you do lose a kid. Now, if this is their senior year, this is it for them, that's a different story. But they're going on to play next week. And Ruby with a off tackle, and the Hurricane is up to the challenge as they drag him down at the 25, Chris. So it's going to be a 3rd and short.
Yeah, and in this situation, if you're Clinton-Massie, it's going to be 4th down.
I mean, 4th down is short.
Would you take a shot if you have a field goal opportunity and 10 minutes to go? Would you take it? I mean, they're going to go for it, but wouldn't you think you'd want to work on a kicking game here?
Yeah, you would, and sometimes you see teams do that. I suspect here they might want to get a little closer, so they're going to try to run some more time off the clock. It's 4th and 1. It's actually a long one here, so it'll be. Of
course, every week, I've watched Brady Henry kick a 41, 42-yard field goal. I mean, this will be setting up from about 42, 43. And Massey's got a good field goal kicker, but, of course, going back to him, I mean, like you said, I'd go a little closer if I could.
Wishbone for Massey. Massey gives it off to number 34, who bowls his way down to about the 14-yard line.
Man, Kyle Reed had him wrapped up. Kyle Reed had him in the backfield, and he just bulldozes every truck stick.
Weston Trampler, a 6'2", 230-pound halfback. And most teams, that would be an offensive lineman there. So he is a huge kid.
Yeah, going back to the depth of what Clinton-Massie has,
Yeah. So an interesting... so we did see a new face in there, Chris, and so Coach McShirley is starting to get a few of his other kids in.
And one thing I like about it, Coach McShirley, they're running clock, the time off, wait until the play clock hits about 5 before they burn some time off. Right. They're not trying to put it, up anymore.
No. Wishbone formation for the Falcons. They give it off to Pointer. Pointer keeps his feet churning down to inside the 10. Well, it looks like they're going to mark him at the 11, so it looks like Massey can still get a first down before they would be in a situation to score. 8 minutes and 10 seconds to go, 4th quarter here at Alumni Field in Wilmington.
But, Coach, going back to it, I mean, Wilmington's allowed 7 points here in the second half. I mean, they've played well. I mean, they're not giving up. They keep grinding. They keep doing work, all due to the seniors. They're putting in some work.
Right. Okay. Wishbone formation and a little reverse handoff, and it's number 35. It is Collingham with an 11-yard touchdown run. And so with 7:30 to go, that makes it 40-0 in favor of the Falcons. And I would suspect, Coach, that we'll probably see some of the faithful start to pack things up and head for the gate.
Now, Coach, going back to it, Clinton-Massie's done a nice job tonight. If you was going to give it out to one player for Clinton-Massie here who's played exceptionally well tonight for the Falcons, who would you go to? And
I think maybe Richardson.
Yeah.
I mean, punt return, the big catch for the first down. He had an interception. So, I mean, when you look at the little things he did, he really set the tone for the game. And we talked in the very beginning, And I was talking to Matt Baker a little bit about that. Where Massey is so dangerous is they turn turnovers into points, and you just can't turn the ball over. Now, who would you be thinking?
Well, I think basically I'd say Christian Pointer's had a great game. I mean, he's throwing the ball. Of course, you go with Luke, you go with Christian Pointer, but I would like to see this on a different field. I wish Dylan Bogart, Brady Evans was playing tonight. I don't think this isn't a 40-0 ball game. I mean, they're an 8-1 Wilmington going into this game, and it's going to be a smash-mouth football game.
Right.
And it kind of broke my heart, when Brady went down and when Dylan went down, because those are two superstars. It's hard to replace. Yeah. I mean, it's all there is to it.
Well, you see, I mean, in the NFL, they can't do it. I mean, it's no different at any level. When you lose your playmakers, it's difficult to replace them.
It is.
And there's a kickoff by Clinton-Massie. Drives the ball down to about the 6-yard line where it's fumbled. And Massey covers it pretty well, but no.
Is that Logan Frazier?
Logan Frazier is able to get out to about looks like the 10-yard line. But I was not looking good there for a minute there, Chris.
Yeah. But you know what? Looking on the bright side, coming back next year for Wilmington, Massey's going to go into the playoffs.
They're young.
They're young. Wilmington's young right now. They got a lot of young kids. It's going to be coming back. Massey's going to be moving on to the playoffs. We'll see what they have to bring to Clinton County again. Of course, they got a tough haul there with Valley View at number 1.
Yeah, Valley View, a traditional power, 4 state championships under Jay Niswanger. Okay, so we have Wilmington and 2 splits, and McIntosh is swarmed under at about the 1-yard line.
Man, looks like number 40 there, Trey Utrick came through there just barreling.
Yeah,
he was ready.
Utrick was on a mission there.
He didn't bite on that fake.
He says no, he did not.
He goes, I'm hitting it, like you said earlier. You do your responsibility. Yeah. You tackle that guy even if he don't have the ball. You tackle him because you never know when he don't have the ball.
That's right. That's right. You make him know that you are there every play. Okay, so this is a dangerous situation. We got a power eye out of the pistol, and McIntosh throws the ball up the sideline.
In and out of the hands there. Who was that there?
I'm trying to see who that is.
Is that Matt Smith?
And Matt Smith has been a busy man today. Was it Matt Smith?
Yeah. And the thing Matt's had this whole year, and going back to it, he's dropped a lot of balls. I've watched him drop a lot of balls in and out of his hands early this year, late this year. I mean, he's a good receiver, but kind of like a Terrell Owens type kid. Sometimes he catches, sometimes he don't.
Okay. Power eye, pistol, receiver split right and left. McIntosh back in his own end zone. He's under pressure, gets the ball out. Oh!
Man, I'll tell you, number 31 there for Clinton-Massie.
Yeah, he came rolling over on top of that pretty hard.
Oh, you got Cam Kimmer.
And that is, we don't have a 31. We don't have a 31 on here.
No, and that was number 31 there for Clinton-Massie. He come over the top hard.
Oh, he did. He did.
I thought he was going to light Cam up.
Right.
But he goes for the ball, Good play by him. I mean, that was a kill shot.
Yeah, that was aggressive play, and that's what you want out of your safeties. I mean, you want to see him roll hard to the football and play it at the high point, and, he did.
We got a man down here on the field. Is that a Clinton-Massie Falcon? See, here we go back to it, having your starters in.
Yeah, I think that was number 11. Tate Olberding, a sophomore, 6'1", 160 pounds.
But when you got a sophomore, and if he's a starter, and the thing is, sometimes it's time to pull him.
Yeah.
We're moving on. If this is you have that chance of, hey, you could get, an injury this week, and is it really that worth it?
And, you look across, if you're Coach McShirley, you look across the field and you see what's happened to Wilmington with their injuries. You definitely don't want to put yourself in that same situation.
No, because, like we was talking earlier, if Wilmington, if they're injury-free, they're coming in this game. It's a totally different ball game.
Exactly.
Now, if you're Clinton-Massie, you lose a couple of your key players. same thing can happen.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
24 there.
24, so we'll see. That was actually Jeffrey Passage, the 5'9" senior. But looks like he's jogging off the field, so that's a good thing. Because he'll have to leave for a play. And we have 3:05 to go here in the fourth quarter, 41-0 in favor of the Clinton-Massie Falcons here at Alumni Field in Wilmington.
Special recognition of the players of the game coming up following the contest.
Okay, so it dials up a punting situation. And it's just, Chris, that's just a survival situation where you just want to get it out. Oh, there's a wall set up again for number 22 for the Falcons. He cuts back to his right, and it's a touchdown.
And the punt is returned for a touchdown by Clinton-Massie.
And that is Grant Trampler. And a nice little job of running that, Coach.
Yeah, he does. You know, he's had a couple go by him tonight, and I think this time he was like, man, I'm picking it up. I'm taking it to the house.
He got into the lane there to the sideline and then made a little cutback move, and that's all she wrote.
So now here at Alumni Field, it's 47-0, Clinton-Massie over Wilmington Hurricanes, 2:07.
And here we go. So the extra point coming up. And there is the kick, and it is good. So 48-0. Under 2 minutes to go here in the fourth quarter. And Chris, it was fun. Had an opportunity to do another game with you here.
Oh, it's been great. It's always great.
As we got a chance to do that game up in Canton a few weeks ago, and maybe next week we'll. I don't know what plans are for the playoffs or the Wilmington College game.
Now going back, you know, broadcasting with you, it's always a pleasure and things. Now, Coach, do you plan on going back coaching ever, or you like, you know?
Well, it's always a year-to-year thing, Chris.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll see. You know, I've enjoyed working here at Campus Nation and helping Rick get the radio station going, and I never say never. You know, if opportunity knocks, you have to consider it. So we'll see what the good Lord has planned for us on that.
Well, we all know you know football, and it's always great talking with you, Coach Ray back here. And you know when you talk football with somebody that's knowledgeable, it's one thing.
Okay, there's the kickoff and the balls.
Connor Mitchell there.
Connor Mitchell, and he's up to the 40, 45, 50. Knocked out at about the 43-yard line.
Man, he really put a lick on. That's my nephew there.
All right, there you go. So,
man, Devin Noble there went up to hit him, and Connor just lit him up.
Connor lit him up. He sure did.
Got a Wilmington player down as well. We got a flag as well.
So we got hankies all over the field, and let's see what's going on here.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure. You know, my nephew starts linebacker for Wilmington too, and also, you know, just when he returns something, does something good. He's a sophomore. They got a lot of young kids, and it's nice having him on the field. And
right.
Of course, 15's down now.
Right.
That's who he truck stick there, but you know.
And we've got Devin Noble, yep, the sophomore. Noble's not moving, though.
No. I mean, he got hit. When Connor hit him there, he just went limp and fell down. And then he goes out to the hashes and falls down here.
Well, you know, usually you see a foot moving or a leg twitching or something when somebody, but this, I've not seen any movement right now.
His right arm is, but not his legs. He was holding his back when he got up. It was like he crumpled.
Yeah. And okay, they're talking to him. Okay. So it's
good. I mean, you don't ever want to see a kid ever hurt. I mean, you always like to see someone get up and get off the field here on his own.
He's still woozy.
You know, that helmet to helmet is really rough. I mean, sometimes, you know, as a football player, you know, when I played the game of football, if I wanted to punish somebody, I was always putting my head down.
Yeah.
And I did, and that's just the way the game's played.
Well,
sometimes you want to show, like, listen, man, I'm battling, and I'm going to show you what I got. And the thing is, I'm here, and I'm knocking on your door, and I ain't giving up. Whether I'm down 40-0, whether I'm up 40-0, I'm going to still knock on your door. I'm going to show you what I'm made of.
Right.
And I think, you just can't give up.
Right. Well, there's a lot of clean jerseys out there now.
Yeah. I think, like you said, they ain't trying to get nobody hurt.
Nobody's going to get hurt the rest of this time. Oh! And that's probably going to be the last play as it 10 seconds rolls down there. And so, final score here from Alumni Field is the Clinton-Massie Falcons 48 and the Wilmington Hurricane 0. So Clinton-Massie finishes 9-1, moves on to the playoffs. The Hurricane finished 6-4. A disappointing season, but again, out of their control because injuries. You can never go into a season and anticipate what's going to happen, Chris.
And Wilmington College, I do a lot of broadcasting there, but Wilmington High School, going 6-4. I mean, they win a couple ball games without their key starters after New Richmond, week 6. They still fought back. They played tough. Lost to Goshen, lost to Massey without their starters. And you know what? It's something they can build on. Of course, Coach Kellen, he can take a lot from this game. And they have a lot of juniors and sophomores coming back, and that's one of their big, things. But I just want to shout out to, like you said, Jaron Evans there coming here to Wilmington. And he's one of the kids that I coached, and I had an opportunity. You did too. And
an East Clinton kid,
And, it was nice to be able to see his last football game play.
It was. And, it was tough for Jaron to make that decision when he came over here, but he wanted to play with his cousin Brady. People didn't realize that they were related, but they are cousins. And they had the opportunity to play this last year together, so, congratulations to him and the Hurricane. And so, Chris, you'll be off there doing some college games and maybe some playoff games. And, of course, tomorrow on Campus Nation, we'll be out at Nelsonville. We'll be doing the Hawking Hawks against the Lewisburg College Hurricane. And they are coming up from Lewisburg, North Carolina. So we will be doing that. Game time is at 1. Pre-game starts at 12:30. So we will see everybody then. And for Chris Wisecup, this is Bill Rayback. Good night, everyone.
Good night.